Welcome to First Robotics Game Day. This is the Milford District event at Milford High School in Highland Charter Township, Michigan. And we welcome you inside here to Milford High School. Dan Gutowski along with Dan Kimura. Alexis Downey will join us a little bit later on. Dan, this is such an exciting time of year for these students. They've been working for several months trying to build these robots, and a chance to get them on the competition field today is great for them.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that you have to understand about the first robotics competition. So they don't even know what the game is that they're playing until January 5th. They've got 6 weeks from that point to design, build, program, wire, test everything, their robots. And I think, all that work, getting a chance to see it live on the field is a big thing for them. Yeah,
they've been scrambling to get everything up and running. Now, this year's game called Destination Deep Space. Different rules, different challenges for the robots. How is this played?
Yeah, so Destination Deep Space, it's a 3 versus 3 game. So we'll have 3 robots on the Red Alliance playing against 3 robots on the Blue Alliance. Our field is 27 feet by 54 feet long, so it's a pretty big playing area. And we play for 2 minutes and 30 seconds during the match. Now, the first 15 seconds of the match is what we call the sandstorm period, and you can see them lowering those curtains down. Those are going to block the view of the drivers. So during this period, the drivers have to navigate with the help of remote sensors, camera feeds, things like that to help them score those points. Now, they're going to start on one of our platform levels. If they start on the lowest level and they get off it, they'll get 3 points. If they start on the middle level, they'll get 6. You can see the curtains will go up, and that starts the driver control period, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. They're going to try to be scoring these hatch panels here. You can see these discs of plastic. They've got Velcro around the outside. Every hatch panel that they can seat in place is going to get them 2 points. And you need to score these hatch panels first so that you can score the cargo afterwards. If you try to put one of these balls, which we call cargo, into one of those hatches and it's open, it's going to roll right through. So after you score the hatch panel, you can drop these cargo balls in. The cargo balls are going to be worth 3 points apiece for you. So you've got the rest of the 2 minutes and 15 seconds here to just try to score as many hatch panels and as many cargo as you can to run up your score before the end game.
All the planning, all the work that gets put to the test today here. 40 high schools competing here at Milford High School.
We got a good look here at the end game now. So in the end game, if you get on that lower level platform that we see, that's going to be 3 points a robot. If you can get one level higher than that, on level 2, that's going to be 6 points. And here we see a robot going all the way to the top. That's going to be 12 points if they can get all the way on top of that platform at the end of the match.
Yeah, lots of energy in this building, Dan. Again, the enthusiasm always big as these kids get their first chance to compete. We're going to get it going. The Red Alliance and the Blue Alliance, our first match when we come back to Milford.
Genius is not born. It's nurtured. It's curious. It pioneers. Genius takes teamwork. It takes patience. It doesn't throw in the towel. It keeps going. Past obstacles, past failures. Until that moment when it shines. Introducing the Generation Genius Project from Consumers Energy, our educational initiative to inspire a passion in science, technology, engineering, and math. Like our sponsorship of Michigan First Robotics. Together, we can fuel the next generation of talent in Michigan. Discover the genius in all of us at consumersenergy.com/genius.
The Riveters is a FIRST Robotics team based out of Mercy High School in Farmington Hills. We are a majority female team with the goal of helping others pursue STEM.
I don't notice it, that we're all girls. But then we get to competitions and we're like, oh yeah, it's all boys here.
I think it's really important for high school girls to see other women in engineering.
It's a rare field to find women in, especially our women role models these days. Therefore, it's a rare field for women to feel empowered to go into.
The best thing about FIRST Robotics is that it gives the girls an opportunity to try out CAD skills in a machine shop and programming and find out what they really like. It's just great to see so many girls getting involved and having fun and learning about STEM.
This 2019 First Robotics Milford District event is brought to you by Consumers Energy, count on us, Dow, the DTE Foundation, and Ford. Well, we're back here inside Milford. Let's go downstairs in the pits and bring in Alexis Downey.
Thanks, guys. The atmosphere down here is so exciting. You can just feel the energy from these teams. These teams have been preparing their robots for 6 weeks for this competition, and these fans are fired up. The First in Michigan competition is the biggest in the United States with thousands of participants, and these kids are ready to compete today. Guys.
Yeah, to continue Alexis's point, Dan, you know, we're always kind of tracking the growth every year. It's like a 40 or 50 school jump consistently every year in terms of teams continuing to join this robotics competition.
Yeah, and that I think speaks to the excitement and the quality of the program, as well as the First in Michigan leadership. So I know Gail Alpert, always out there, president of First in Michigan, knocking on doors, making phone calls to get teams started.
Yeah, let's break down this bracket here as we look at the quarterfinal matchups with these last 8 alliances that are set to go.
Yeah, we can see we're going to see our first quarterfinal here. Alliance 1 will be wearing the red bumpers versus Alliance 8 in the blue bumpers. 67, that's Huron Valley Schools, the hot team. They've got multiple state championships, multiple world championships. Some would definitely call them the best team in Michigan. 3707, up-and-coming team. They won a couple events last year. So that's a very, very dangerous looking #1 alliance. Number 8, a great team out of Ypsilanti, 66. That's Grizzly Robotics. And they've been doing this as long as anybody else. You can see those team numbers. The lower they are, generally, the longer they've been participating.
So, and again, it's two. It seems like most of the alliances consist of 2 teams that are well established and 1 team that's maybe a bit of a newcomer that's starting to kind of really become a presence here in robotics.
Yeah, for sure. So it's a 24-team bracket. So there's 3 robots on every alliance. And so you kind of get a lot of strong robots on that first pass through the draft. But then your third robot is going to be, you know, who is that diamond in the rough? Who can you find that's on their way up, that knows what they're doing? Because the established teams aren't going to last that long.
So again, these teams have been working so diligently the last weeks, months. What are these teams doing, Dan, in these final minutes before they, you know, kind of get the robots rolling on the field?
It's the final setup, so I think we had a bit of a delay here at the start. Teams were going out and they were refilling their compressed air, so their pneumatic systems on the robot, they can pre-charge those tanks. And after they did that, now we can see them back in the driver's station, just making sure their controls are connected, their camera feeds are working, everything is checking out on the robot, so they're ready to go.
And the fans, you know, we've already touched on the energy that the people that are not in the field of play bring. It's always interesting to see how that part of it grows from year to year as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and this, you can see it, right? I mean, this is not during a match, and we've got all this activity and dancing and stuff like that. So I think there is a spirit award that used to be given out, so that sort of encourages this, but I think it's just a really fun atmosphere.
Yeah, and this is going to continue building all the way to the state championships in mid-April. So there's a lot more of this to come for a lot of different venues throughout all the state of Michigan. So this is not just a one-off. This is kind of the start of a long-term process.
That's correct. We had 3 events last weekend. We've got 5 events going on simultaneously in Michigan this weekend. We're going to have 5 events every weekend for the next 4 after this. So every team gets to play twice, and at that point, the top about 120 teams in the state are going to get an invite to the state championship.
Yeah. Teams are, let's, you know, kind of reset too. You know, obviously there's a lot of financial commitment that these teams need. the teams kind of go out on their own to generate that funding and, you know, find those sponsors and businesses that are going to invest. We've already, you know, mentioned some of the great sponsors that really are serious, but at the grassroots level, these teams have to go out and find their own funding and their own money.
Yeah,
right?
and I mean, that's a great shot right there of all the sponsors on the back of that shirt. So you got big guys like GM, but you've got some smaller companies too, and teams will really try to bring the whole community together around the team.
It almost got like a NASCAR
Yeah,
feel,
exactly,
you know,
yep.
with the sponsorship.
Yeah.
But the money is going to such a great cause. You know, when we talked to, you know, the former governor, Rick Snyder, from the state of Michigan, and, you know, he's a self-proclaimed gearhead.
Yep.
He just, you know, he loves the fact that there is a growth of young engineers that are hopefully going to carry this over into their college education and into the work industry here in Michigan.
For sure, and that's one of the things is a lot of those sponsors don't look at this as a charity. They're not donating to this great robotics program. They see it as growing their future workforce. So they get these people on these teams. They support the teams. They bring in, they bring in engineers and stuff to help mentor the teams, work with them on the design of the robot. And then they're right there to see, you know, this guy's going to be a great engineer one day. Let's get him in and starting as an intern.
Let's take a step back right now and get a kind of a different look and look at the gear at the machine shop and how that aspect helps these robots perform well on a day like today.
What you see before you is a machine shop tooling trailer that we install automotive lines at the customer's facilities. So it's pretty capable. You can see down the way there's a weld area on the right, saw, arbor press, another drill press. This is a vertical band saw, surface grinders, other drill presses, layout tables. So this is a pretty good tooling trailer. We use this, and we're using this for this competition, and it's probably helping them a great deal. We've got a lot of first and second year teams that are just coming right in. We need help. But we're cutting, drilling, modifying, repairing bent cylinders. So we're repairing robots that you're seeing them get pushed around and bent up and come apart, and we're the team that's helped repairing that. But they're learning. These guys are great little sponges, let me tell you. We're pretty happy to do all this. It really touches your heart going through. These kids want to learn. These kids want to be here. You know, I believe in these kids. We believe in these kids.
Yeah, you know, the kids are smart, let's be honest, but they have to have some mentorship and some guidance from adults. And when the two go hand in hand, that's when things can really take off.
Yeah, and it's amazing how much a senior on a team can do that's been on the team for 4 years and going through that mentorship process. I used to run a team for many years, and we would start with freshmen on the team who knew nothing, were afraid to touch everything, and that same kid, by the time they were a senior, they'd be in charge of designing an entire system on the robot.
Yeah, so many great value-added things come from these kids that get invested in robotics. And you know, when you're first experiencing these events, you know, you kind of come in like deer in the headlights. You're like, where is all this energy coming from? Where is all this? You know, these kids have been working in those, you know, in those labs and those little, you know, workshops, and but the payoff comes here when they get to roll out these robots and get everything going.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you covered up the field and couldn't see what was down there, you wouldn't know the difference between this and a basketball game.
Exactly, good point. So, yeah, some different components. One strategy thing that we had talked about earlier was the playing field itself is a little bit smaller. You've got that big cargo ship in the middle, and that is going to remove a lot of open space for the robots to work in, and you said that gives the defense an advantage. Yeah, anytime you're in tight quarters, a defensive robot kind of can have a field day. So you can see, especially between those tall rockets and the cargo ship there in the middle of the field, that alleyway is just very narrow, and half of the scoring is on each side of that. So there is one advantage for the offensive teams. You can see the red and blue line going across the center of our field, kind of cutting our field in half for our red side and our blue side. You're actually only allowed one defensive robot at a time on the other side of the field. But that one robot can still, you know, kind of wreak a lot of havoc, and I think we'll see that play into a lot of the matches, especially later in the brackets here. And we were talking also about, when is this game actually created? The teams find out early January, but you said that the national organization works about a year ahead.
Yeah,
they're already working on next year's game,
exactly.
right?
They try to stay as far ahead as possible. It's just such a tight turnaround once they, finally decide what the game is. But they do go back and they'll incorporate things that they learned this year, make some modifications. And there are a whole bunch of people who actually get a chance to look the game over and kind of try to vet it before it goes live.
And the teams in this first matchup, Dan, let's get a kind of a preview of what we might be seeing here.
Sure, so we'll take a look at the Red Alliance here first. We can see 67. So that's Huron Valley Schools. That's the hot team. Again, one of the oldest teams in Michigan, one of the most decorated. They have 3 world championships. They have 4 state championships, and they've won 15 district events.
And now we are getting the sign that it is time to start. So we'll start with the sandstorm period, 15 seconds of both alliances working blind.
Yep, absolutely. You can see the black curtains are down. The drivers can't see anything directly, but they're still going to go out and they're still going to try to score these hatch panels. So good score there by 37.07, and I think 67, the hot team, is going to do that. Brighton, actually, 37.07, just flying out with a second one.
So
and it's
15 seconds of uncontested now. The curtains go up, and it's game on.
Absolutely. So we'll see what the Blue Alliance, our number 8 here, has in store. It's really interesting, though. One of the robots on the Blue Alliance is still sitting on their platform. That, I believe, is 3098, the captains. I know they've had some communication problems earlier in this tournament, but if they're stuck there all match, it's going to be really hard.
Yeah, they're from Waterford Kettering High School, so they're down a robot already. Red Alliance functioning just fine, and you can see a lot of cargo. Those balls, those big orange balls called cargo, those are loose. Anybody can grab them. The idea, put them in those rockets and put them in that cargo bay in the middle. We've got a blue robot and a red robot both putting a cargo ball in.
Yep, so red, it looks like the number 1 alliance here in the red bumpers. They're playing 2 on offense, 1 on defense. We can really see that 55-62 Maple City getting in the way, just making a mess of it for the 2 blue robots over there trying to score. And I think that's giving red this advantage.
Yeah. Well, missing 1 robot, I mean, it's kind of, playing with one hand a little bit.
Yep.
And that robot has not moved off that level, so it's basically kind of a free run here for the Red Alliance. And they continue to, well, I don't know if they're taking this over, but they've obviously got it in control.
Yeah, we see some movement now, and we can see the light in their driver station is solid. That means they are connected to the robot, but there's something wrong, and they're obviously not driving. And I mean, we're seeing it's 51-31 now in favor of the Red Alliance, and I think that's the difference of having a defender in your way and not having a defender in your way.
Looks like the cargo ship in the middle is fairly filled up. Now those teams are going to probably move towards the rockets, perhaps. We've got the 1 robot from the hot team. The Red Alliance is moving on to that highest level on the platform.
20 seconds left, so that's about the time we're going to see them go. It's so many points. You don't want to get trapped out on the field and not get back for that high climb. But Brighton up here in the front in red, they just got to get on level 1 so they can play to the last second, and they do wonderfully.
The Techno Dogs finish strong, and the Red Alliance is going to win this first match. The quarterfinal 1 is a victory for the Red Alliance.
Yep, and one of the things we're going to see is at the end of every match, we have the preliminary score on the screen. Some of the climbing points won't be put in, some penalties might not be put in. So our referee crew will get together and make sure the final score is correct, and we'll have an announcement of that in just a second. And yep, there's the final score. So the points changed a little bit, 74-43 when everything is finally tallied up, but not a difference in the outcome.
Dan, is there an immediate reaction for an alliance when they don't necessarily have a lot of points? I don't think that Red Alliance thought 74 points was maybe a high mark for them, but are they satisfied with what they did, or is there still some work to do?
I think they're going to be pretty satisfied with that score. It's interesting that, last year we had huge scores, right? This year, just because it's 2 and 3 points a score, 73 is going to be a decent score. 74 is going to be a decent score here. You can see the breakdown there. So 12 points in the Sandstorm. You can do a little bit better than that. Again, if you have 2 robots on the middle level and 1 on the lower, you can actually get 6, 6, and 3 for a total of 15 points there. So they left a little bit of points on the table there. The 18 points at the end is almost a perfect score. But you can really see the difference in this match happening during that main play with the hatch panels and the cargo.
Let's flip back and look at a little bit of action inside and go a little bit deeper on how this unfolded.
A great Sandstorm here. So you can see that there are actually balls that start inside of the cargo ship there. So by putting that hatch panel on, they capture the ball. They get 5 points for that play instead of just the 2 for the cargo. So a little bit of a miss there, though.
Yeah, those hatch panels, very important. The balls, I mean, they get attention because they're orange and whatnot, and they're going to get placed. But the hatch panels, you got to have those in place or nothing else goes.
Exactly. So we can see, too, all of the hatch panels on the side, they have this white tape on them. If you see hatch panels with the white tape, they actually are pre-placed before the match. They don't give you points, but they open up that ability for you to score the cargo. And another view of that, a great climb by the 67 robot. And they've been doing that all weekend. I mean, that's just, they're perfect, consistent. They go with plenty of time. They don't rush it. And they lock those 12 points down.
Yeah, the Hotbot is always a must-watch robot. Let's go down in the pits and join Alexis Downey. Alexis.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Ethan and Jake, both winners from the red team. So what did you think was one of the things that went really well in that first match?
I think they did really well with the cargo and the hatch panels, and I just went down there and I played some really hard D. I just tried to get in their way and stop them from getting cargo into their cargo ship, just trying to be a problem for them.
And how do you think this alliance is working so well together, even though it's only the first match?
This alliance is working so well together because you've got a lot of high-skilled teams that have put a lot of time in throughout the season on driving and everything like that.
What is the support like that you guys have had coming into this competition?
The support?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's super supportive, especially like your team is going to be really supportive in your family, but also other teams, like the whole FIRST community is like a big family, and we all support each other, and it's like you help each other out. It's really, really awesome.
And moving forward into your next match, what is one thing that you guys want to work on?
This first match, we had some jitters because we had a long delay before, so we're going to keep playing the game and work out those jitters and do everything better.
Okay, well, good luck today, guys.
Thank you.
Back up to you guys.
Alexis, thanks. And, you know, again, we're still early in the process, right, Dan, for these teams understanding, knowing how to operate the robots, making sure the engineering's right. And, you know, so there's going to be still some learning going on.
Yeah.
Let's pick up our next match and start to assess the field with the Blue Alliance, starting with Yale Senior High School and the Yale Gigawatts.
Yeah, a relatively new team, 63-44. So I think they started just a couple years ago. But they picked up a ton of rookie awards back in 2017. That was their rookie season. They actually won an award called the Rookie All-Star Award at our state championship, which is a huge award for a rookie team.
And then it's Wixom OSTC Southwest.
Yep, brand new team. I think this might be their first event ever for that team. So, you know, but coming in and playing really well for a first-year team as well.
What is the referee explaining to them, do you think?
A lot of times they'll come in and they'll just ask about, you know, making sure they know the rules, making sure they know where they need to stand. Sometimes the team will have even come over and asked them a question first, too. So the referees are always just trying to make sure things work out.
All right. And away we go with the Red Alliance, consisting of OSTC Southwest, the Yale Gigawatts, and the Protobots. Then the Gems, Nomads, and Roborams on the other side. 15 seconds. Already lost the hatch panel at midfield, so...
Yeah, no penalty for that, and theoretically, you would be allowed to pick that up and keep playing with it.
And one robot tips over. And that's the OSTC Southwest in the far left corner.
Yeah, and you can see they're running their lift up and down. They're trying to do something, but I don't think they're coming back, so we're going to see another 3v2 here.
So major mishap problems in both of these first two quarterfinal matches. So obviously the Blue Alliance now is got a very strong position.
Yeah, and Blue has got a lot of strong ball handling, cargo handling robots. But we're going to see if the Gems 4362 can keep up with the hatch panel placement. Right now, that middle cargo ship is almost full for the Blue Alliance, and they don't really have anywhere else to go.
So the cargo ship in the middle for the Blue Alliance is getting filled up. Haven't seen a lot of action towards the rockets yet.
Yeah, and we can see there's one hatch panel placed on the near blue rocket, but the way that works, you put a ball in the middle, it could go left, it could go right, so it could get caught by that panel or it could roll the wrong way and fall out. So until they put some more hatch panels on, it's sort of taking a gamble there.
So now Red Alliance has two robots down, 71, 74. That's the Protobots from Crestwood High School in Dearborn Heights. They're hung up too.
Yep, stuck on a cargo there. It looks like their partner was trying to free them for a bit, but those balls are sticky. So what can happen is when you get on top of one like that, it's not as easy as just getting bumped free. You really, really actually bind up on top of it.
Yeah, the balls don't have any weight themselves. They're very light. So easy to lift, not heavy.
Yeah, think of a playground ball or a dodgeball kind of, feel.
I don't know. I've had some dodgeballs that hurt. Maybe you have too, Dan.
That's true.
These balls will not hurt, but it looks like the Blue Alliance is going to just coast. Scoreboard still, a little bit deceiving here.
If it's still close, Blue should get a huge jump here at the end if they can get their robots all on the platform. But 63-44 from Red is going level 3, so they might actually make some points up here in this end game.
Gigawatts trying to overcome the handicap of having two robots. Blue Alliance, no one's up.
So 43-62 is on the lowest level for 3. 60-78, though, I think they're touching the carpet, so no points for them. And it's a little bit hard to see, but in the far corner, 72-54 at Potterville High School, they're off the edge. If they're supported by a ball or a carpet over there, they're not going to get points either. We got 12 points for sure for Red, 3 or 6 for Blue, so they're going to make up, 6 to 9 points here, which might be enough.
Well, nobody comes into competition in early March with perfect robots, do they?
No, and we see a huge improvement from a team from the start to the end of their event, and we'll see a big improvement from the start to the end of the season.
So the Red Alliance struggling with just one functional robot when all was said and done.
Yeah, maybe 1.5. They had some help at the beginning, but looks like it is not going to be enough. That last second climb.
So here's our scoring. Wow. Pretty considerably interesting considering Red Alliance was shorthanded for a lot of this.
Yep. And, Sandstorm was even. That's what you would expect to see from a Sandstorm. But the hatch panels and cargo advantage to that Blue Alliance during play when they were up a robot or 2 robots. But you can see that hab climb at the end, gaining 6 points back.
So here's the robot that got stuck initially. That's the Yale Gigawatts.
And there they go over too. That's 75-53 OSTC Southwest. And they're really trying. I mean, you'll do anything your robot is capable of to kind of right itself there. Great ball score by the Blue Alliance there. And there's the other one. You can just see, you got to be careful. If you drive into those balls too fast, they will roll right underneath your robot. And here's that end game that we couldn't quite see, but it does look like 72-54 is not touching a ball. They're not touching the ground. You can see they're supported by the platform, so they got the 3 points for that. And 63-44 here, the Yale Gigawatts. No problem getting up to level 3. So if you're the Red Alliance,
let's get down in the pits and pick it up with Alexis.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here on the side with the team from Regina High School. We have Poet, Marissa, and Jordan. Welcome, guys. How has the competition been for you guys today?
We had a shaky start, a lot of troubleshooting and fixing things, but we're ready for our competition at Centerline next week.
And what has been one of the hardest things? You guys are one of the only all-girls teams. Has that been a challenge for your team?
It can be challenging to be an all-girls team because people underestimate you, but it's good because it helps you stand out and you can prove them wrong and be an inspiration for other girls.
They definitely shouldn't underestimate girl power. And moving forward, what's one of the things that you want to work on together as a team?
As a team, we want to spread basically more awareness to other girls out there that we can be part of STEM, that we can build up from STEM. And as a team, we just want to build on unity and basically uplifting each other so we can do it.
What's one of the best things about competing in First Michigan?
Definitely the excitement. It's really like a sport. Not like a sport, it is a sport. You get your workout in, running the robot back and forth. You use your brain power to figure out problems, strategy. It's great.
Well, thanks, guys, and good luck.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, Alexis. Let's move on to our next match, third quarter final. Red Alliance with the Monsters, starting actually with the Flushing Raider Robotics.
Yep, they won their division at the Michigan State Championship last year, or 2 years ago, sorry, in 2017.
Then the Walled Lake Monsters from nearby Walled Lake Northern High School.
Yep, 2017, a good year for this alliance. They won the Lansing District event that year.
And playing out of area, the Tawas City Braves.
Would you believe they also have an award for 2017? Rookie All-Star Award at the Midland District.
So a nice resume is what they bring. And Blue Alliance, let's flip it and get a little scouting report on this Blue Alliance. Starting with the Beverly Hills Sting.
Yep, out of Detroit Country Day. This team's been around for quite a while. They actually haven't won an event yet, but they always seem to find themselves having a chance.
Bay City, the legend of robotics.
Yep, 2018 Kettering finalist at the district event there. And they won their division at the state championship last year, so this is another one of those high-numbered teams that's starting to break through.
And then with some SCA constellations. St. Catherine of Siena Academy, they're fairly new.
Yep, for sure. And they were having some problems with the electronics on their robot with that electrical system that we were kind of checking out earlier this weekend, but I think everything is working now, and that is an all-girls team.
They were with Catholic Central as a combo team last year. This year they're going on their own. So again, the development of all these students and schools that are able to generate the resources they need and expand their programs so they can, kind of go on their own.
For sure. I mean, there is a limit to how many people can work on a robot in a season too, right? So when you get to the point where you have enough interest, you can sort of split a team off and give some more people a chance to lead design systems and manufacture the parts.
Yeah, what would an average number be of, how many kids are on an actual robotics team?
Most teams are going to be around 30 kids. We have some as small as 4 or 5 and some as big as 100. When you get up to 100, you got a lot of side programs going on. You have a whole website team, a whole entrepreneurship team, things like that. Looks like they're replacing one of the team number signs on the field. So not only are the robots, a technical thing, they can have technical difficulties, but the field as well. We have a server that runs the field and a bunch of signs and displays that are all hooked up. We can see that one there. They're just getting a new one hooked on. I think it was winking out in the last match. We had it go dark. So they're going to try to get a new one up there so we know who's playing. So great field crew here. We have a bunch of FTAs and FTAAs, so technical advisors for the field. We can see that's Melissa Dunphy there with the blue quarter zip and Julia Green, 2 of our really experienced field techs. So they're checking out what's going on. So I think what's
she holding in her hand there?
So
she's
got I think that's a flashlight, but she's got her phone out. What actually happens is these signs have some switches inside. Little tiny dip switches, and you got to put the dip switches in the right position depending on what you want the sign to be. And since this is the spare sign that they're grabbing, they've got to figure out what the dip switch settings have to be. So yeah, we can actually see the chart there, with greens are up and reds are down.
So I need off, all right, on, off, 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 and
7th pin is on.
What about 8?
8 is on.
Let's try that.
Well, there you go. You can't get much more in the know than that.
Uh-huh. So now when they plug it in, it should recognize itself and start working fairly quickly here. I can see from here, it says 8:35 again. Much better.
So sometimes you just got to roll with the punches a little bit, right?
Yep.
So the curtain comes down for the Sandstorm, and this is our third quarterfinal matchup of the afternoon. And away we go again with the Sandstorm. You can get 3 or 6 points, depending which level you start on.
Yep, so everybody on red opting for, well, sorry, 1 robot on red opting for level 2, 2 robots on blue, so that's going to give them the early lead here, 15-13. But red scoring right back.
The legend of robotics for the Blue Alliance, placing that cargo ball in the cargo ship. And they're going strong right to that cargo ship. 3 balls in there for the Blue Alliance. Red Alliance got a little work to do to catch up.
Yeah, falling a little bit behind here, and that's surprising too because our Red Alliance is our number 2 seed. So you'd expect them to come out a little bit more forcefully than this.
75-89 SCA Constellations placing their hatch panel on that rocket. So again, you get attention to the cargo, but those hatch panels are really important.
Yeah, and we'll see these teams jump out to a big score with the cargo because they've got those null panels on the cargo ship for easy scoring opportunities. But once that's full, I think that's when we'll see alliances start to differentiate themselves.
Blue Alliance trying to put that 1 cargo ball in there in that rocket. And by the way, if you fill up the rocket with cargo, the nose cone lights up, and that's points too, right?
Yep. Well, it was a bonus ranking point, which will help you a lot in our earlier part of the tournament where teams are playing with random partners and random opponents, our qualifying rounds. There's actually no bonus for that anymore now that we are in the elimination phase of our tournament.
But still a nice bonus just to get the thing lit.
If you fill a rocket, I don't think you need the bonus. I think you're probably going to win the match right now.
Good point. Red Alliance trying to keep up. Only down by about 10 here as we close inside 35 seconds left.
And Walled Lake 308 on the top there, doing a great job of filling that rocket. I mean, they got the bottom all done, 2 hatch panels on the middle level, but they're still not closing the gap on blue.
Blue Alliance has loaded up heavy in that middle cargo ship. Red Alliance still about a 10-point swing, and now the Blue Alliance making their move onto their levels, working in tandem to push themselves up. Well, that's great teamwork there. Red Alliance looks like they'll only get maybe, they got all 3 on.
Yeah,
or is that one off?
That is close. I think they're on.
That's very close. They got that little bounce the other way.
Yep.
And if they get it, looks like unofficially it's a 2-point win for the Red Alliance.
Yep, so end game, they've got that robot on level 3 for 12 points, 1 level on level 2, 1 robot on level 2, 1 on level 1. So that's going to be a total of 21 there. Blue Alliance coming back with just 2 6s and a 3, so they've only got 15. So that is a 6-point swing in the end game for the Red Alliance, but will it be enough?
Oh, nail biter, 69-64. They get a few more bonus points, and we'll bring it officially on here with maybe our most exciting, our most competitive match of the day, the 3rd quarterfinal.
Well, first one we had all 3 robots on each alliance working the whole time, so that was good to see.
There we go, it's final. 3 points in the Sandstorm, a difference and an advantage for the Blue Alliance.
Yeah, and you can see that end game, 21 for the Red Alliance, 15 for the Blue.
That's the swing.
Those 6 points went from, got you a 1-point or a 5-point victory.
Well, very close. Let's get back together with Alexis. Oh, we'll hold on. Oh, highlights first. Let's get in depth here and see how this unfolded.
Yep, 8:35 doing a good job of scoring that. 308, it was kind of a nice strategy from the Red Alliance. They had 308 working this rocket alone, so their partners weren't getting in their way. There was no defense, and they just slowly filled that up. And you can see here just how hard it is to score that hatch panel when you come in on an angle. That was actually a really cool end effector there, able to rotate to adjust to that angle. And here's that teamwork. 7598 does most of it, but they do need that bump from 835 to get them all the way on top.
And here's the big one. This is the push to get on that third level. And that last one just barely holds on. Oh, so close.
And you can see the practice there, too. They did that relatively quickly, and that sequence of events has to happen just so.
Back to the pits we go with Alexis.
Hey, thanks, guys. I'm down here in the pits with Patty Poppy, the CEO of Consumers Energy. Great to have you down here.
Thanks, Alexis. Welcome to your first robotics competition.
Yeah, it's really something. I've never seen anything like it. Very excited to be here. So tell me a little bit about how consumers got involved with FIRST.
Well, we fell in love with it. It started with my daughters. I had 2 daughters on a high school team. And when we discovered the amazing experiences these students were having and how prepared they were for careers, we thought we need to be a big part of FIRST Robotics. And so it's a whole family affair. My husband's a mentor, and I can't get enough of it. My coworkers and I are crazy about FIRST Robotics.
So how long have you been doing this?
Well, gal, that's been about 8 years. 8 years we've been involved with FIRST Robotics. And at Consumers Energy, you know, we get up every day preparing to serve. And what better way to prepare than to prepare the workforce of the future right here on these robotic fields?
Yeah, absolutely. What are some of the skills that these kids have gained from working with mentors and things like that for the future?
It's like a junior engineering program. They learn to design in 3D, make their own parts, do a lathe and a water jet, and use major equipment to make the parts they just designed and then go put them on the field and compete. It's an extraordinary experience, but it's not just that. They also learn to code and program the robots. They learn to scout and do analytics of all the other teams that they're going to team up with. So it's very all-encompassing experiences for students. There's something for everyone on a FIRST Robotics team.
About how many people from your company are working with these students as a mentor or volunteering?
Oh my gosh. Over probably 75, maybe more than that. Our Women's Engineering Network mentors all the middle school teams in Jackson County. We have mentors on teams all across the state. We hosted a robotics fair at our headquarters just a week ago. We're all in, and FIRST Robotics starts at preschool and goes all the way up through high school, so it's such a great curriculum to complement the regular school programs that we can get involved in all different levels of the program.
So what's one of the most exciting things about being here today?
Well, I personally love the competition, and I'm proud of my husband's team, the Heroes of Tomorrow. They're sponsored by General Motors, but they are a classic Hall of Fame team, and it's so fun to watch them come out, and they were the #1 alliance today, and so I'm counting on a win.
Well, thank you for being here with me, Patty.
Thanks, Alexis.
Back to you guys.
All right, so one thing we don't expect, I don't think, Dan, is a lot of runaway victories early in the year like this. Let's get to our next quarterfinal, our 4th quarterfinal match, which is going to be the Red Alliance, Blue Alliance first. The Scott Spots, the Wildcat Robotics, and the Trobots, Strike Zone, Electro Eagles, and Robot Roll Call for the Red Alliance. And here we go.
Number 3 Alliance in red versus number 6 in blue. A little bit of a hiccup on blue. We got a dropped hatch panel there in that sandstorm mode. But it's very close. 18-18 kind of exiting that first period. We want to keep an eye on that Strike Zone robot in red up at the top, 5460. They've got a really interesting design on their robot where they can swing their scoring device to either side of the robot. So sometimes that helps them get there faster. But that's where we're seeing the defense too on the top there on the red side. It's just both red robots are trying to score over there, and 6550 is just making a mess of that zone, forcing the teams to push through them every time.
So still a Red Alliance advantage, but the cargo ship in the middle for Red Alliance looking full. Blue Alliance trying to place one now. That's the, let's see what robot. That's the Scott's Bots that just finally dropped one.
Yep, and what we saw too was that whole time that we had that defense on the top side of the Red Alliance, 66-10 robot roll call, just cleaning up on the bottom side of our cargo ship here, getting all 3 of those balls in. So Red's actually starting to pull ahead here, 47-30.
Are you surprised the Rockets are a little bit underutilized? I'm just an observation from me.
Well, I think the idea is because you can drop cargo directly into the cargo ship because of those null panels, teams want to score those 3-pointers first before they go to the 2-pointers. And again, this is where I think we're going to see that real differentiation. Blue is sort of full on the cargo ship, so's Red, but Red's got that rocket, that far side rocket with the 4 hatch panels there. They've got 3 cargo in already. And just really building a huge lead, 23-point lead now with only 20 seconds left in the match.
And now here comes the climb for the Electro Eagles for the Red Alliance, trying to take that coveted middle spot, the high spot.
Yep, and that was sketchy. And they're not done yet.
No, they're going to need some help. They got to be all the way on, right?
They have to be all the way on. If they're touching anything else but the top of that platform, no points.
Blue Alliance has 2 on, but they're well short in points. Red Alliance gets all 3, but only 1 on the high level.
Yeah, and I think that high level one is not going to count. It looks like their tail there that they were using to get the robot lifted up is still touching level 1. So I'm guessing that's going to be a 3-point score for 35-36. 9 points here in the end game for Red. 12 points for Blue as they get 2 level 2s, but one of their robots did not make it back because they lost connection. Again, another dead robot out there trying to get back to the platform and just not able to make it.
All right, well, not as close as the last one, but let's dive into our highlight package here.
Again, that's that value play, 54-60, dropping that hatch panel on. There's already a ball inside, so if the hatch panel goes on here in Sandstorm, you get points not only for the hatch panel, but for the ball that's there. And we can see a lot of that defense up top, 65-50. They're just nailing the Red Alliance, making it really hard for them. But that limit on defense, you can see on the bottom of our screen, 66-10, just kind of free runs back and forth between that loading station and the cargo ship. The Blue Alliance also doing a great job. Our number 6 Alliance here, filling that cargo ship up. No problem, despite the defense there of 66-10, able to drop that one in. And we can see this double climb.
All right, here's a question. Are all of the robots designed for the high climb, or can some just go for the low climb?
It's up to the team at the beginning of the year. And I would say we've got maybe 1 robot on every Alliance that can go high, and everybody else is middle or low.
There's our final score with a great Red Alliance score in the cargo balls.
Yeah, just running away with the hatch panel and cargo score and not able to keep up was our number 6 Alliance in blue.
All right, so our 4 quarterfinal matches are done. We will step aside and come back with more. It's the Milford District event of 2019, first Robotics Game Day. More after this.
It's really nice to see that DTE and other sponsors have our back. They're investing in our future, which is investing in their future.
I'm an engineer by background. I'm in the industry. I see there's not a lot of students in the STEM field right now, and we'd like to help increase that talent pool.
I am working in an engineering atmosphere that's very similar to a real-world experience.
Getting exposure to what kind of opportunities they can get, it empowers them to grab those opportunities.
I think First Robotics is more about pursuing your career. It's not really about the championship, but what you can get from building the robot and working with your teammates.
So here's how things have shaped up now. 4 quarterfinal matches, all in the books. And we've got Red Alliance, Blue Alliance, Red Alliance, Red Alliance.
Yep, so our higher seed winning 1v8. You expect the number 1 seed to take that one, and they did. Down at the bottom of the bracket, 2v7 and 3v6. Our higher seeded team, again, winning that. 4v5, that's usually where you see the most upsets because they're so close together there. Blue Alliance coming in there and taking that one. But remember, there were robot issues for the Red Alliance that match, and it was actually very close despite that. So 46-52, just a 6-point win for our number 5 Alliance in blue there. And so you gotta think Red's got a chance to come back on that one if they can get all their robots functioning.
All right, so let's start previewing what's coming up next now in our semifinal match. You're on the hot team.
Yeah,
Blue
so
Alliance.
Yep, Red Alliance here.
Sorry.
Yep, our number 1 Alliance. You know, they were dominant in their first match. I mean, I think they had the biggest margin of victory. They won by 31 points in that first match. So we need to see something out of our number 8 Alliance that sort of is unexpected. If they go toe for toe with this number 1 Alliance, I don't think they can keep up scoring-wise. So I think we need to see a shift. We need to see maybe some different defense being played out of our number Alliance.
Now our Blue Alliance, Ypsilanti Grizzly Robotics. Ypsilanti.
Yep, and this again, we saw 3098, right? That's the captains in the black shirts, the 3rd Alliance member on that team. Of course, the other being 7178 Yeti out of Walled Lake Western High School. But this team here, 3098, the captains, they sat on the platform the entire first match. They never moved. We did see movement from their robot, but they were never able to drive anywhere and participate in that match. So if this robot comes back to life, that could change a lot as well.
The reality is there's only so much testing you can do on your robot until you bring him here.
And it's every match, I always say this when I'm helping teams out, every match is so precious here. You know, you lose 2, you're out at this point. So if something's wrong with your robot, you can't really take your time to do it scientifically. Let's test this one thing and see if that was it. You gotta just sort of shotgun the problem and change everything that you can change in time. But they did look calm. They had their robot out there with plenty of time, so they've got to feel like they've got whatever the problem was figured out.
So the sandstorm period begins, just 15 seconds. This is obviously when the teams control all of what they can do. There's no defense played here.
And this is great. You can see that close-up on the top right, 3098, the captain scoring a hatch panel in autonomous or in sandstorm mode. And they didn't contribute at all last match, so they're already way ahead.
A couple of loose hatch panels out on the floor and a lot of cargo balls ready to get deposited. Let's see if the Blue Alliance, they're going to put one right there in that cargo ship in the middle. And again, the strategy is always work the cargo ship first, then move to the rockets.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing. A monster start by Blue, though. I think Red might have missed some points in that sandstorm period. But they are catching up quickly. They were down over 10 points as we came into driver control, but that's narrowed already to 3.
Red Alliance trying to catch up. It's close on that scoreboard. Blue Alliance getting some points there from the Yeti Walled Lake Western High School robot, with getting some points in the cargo ship, and now some good defense by Blue Alliance on the Red Alliance's Laker Logistics robot.
Yeah, and that's great. Red is now caught up. They're starting to take the lead. And that one red robot, I mean, you can just see, you can take a picture. It's surrounded by blue robots. They're in the way of everybody for a little bit of time there. But they just knocked a hatch panel off of the cargo ship, so that's going to be a penalty. We can see Blue score jumping up a bit to reflect that.
The hot team robot piling it up in that cargo ship. Another cargo ball is going to get put right now. And now Red Alliance trying to put in the rocket, but no hatch panel. The ball comes loose.
Yep, you got to get that hatch panel on both sides to be safe. And this match has closed up tremendously. 45-44. Red's only up by a single point right now.
Again, we're not seeing an abundance of points, but certainly competition is at a very high level. Boy, a lot of contact between robots right near midfield in front of that Blue Alliance rocket.
Trying to make them work for every point. It's going to come down to the end game climbs here. Red with a very, very slim lead, 2-point lead maybe going into endgame.
Red Alliance going right for the levels. The hot pot, the hot team going for that that highest level, and they've got all three placed. Wow.
And the captains are out again. The captains were able to play most of that match, but they lost connection right at the end when they needed to come back and get those climb points.
Red Alliance. Great effort by them. They're probably what's one of the best showings I think we've seen just to the naked eye. Sometimes the scoreboard doesn't always indicate how well the machines operated. That match, they operated very well.
Yeah, I would agree. And we're going to see, almost a 12-point swing there in the end game. That's going to take what was a close match and make it look like a pretty comfortable Red Alliance victory for our #1 seeds. So again, it looks like our field techs also checking out that 7178 robot, making it halfway up. Not sure if something went wrong with the robot there.
Let's get our highlight package going here. This is the Blue Alliance, and they're playing some good defense.
Yeah, so that's 55-62 right there. I mean, you could see they held all three blue robots up for a couple seconds, and then they just sat on 7178, just really slowing everybody down. And that's what it takes. I mean, if you can make every single score take a few seconds more, then by the end of the match, you're gonna, lower the opponent's score by, 5-10 points. Clean grab there by 67. And a direct place. See 71-78 here. And we can see there that they ripped the hatch panel off 55-62, so you can see it on the ground. A ball came out as well, so those points were given back, as well as a penalty point assessed. So the Blue Alliance got some bonus points from that. We'll see if it was enough, though. Nice, clean level 3. We've seen this from 67 all day.
Yeah. They're in mid-season form early in the season.
At least with that aspect of their robot, for sure.
And here's the final. Red Alliance comfortably winning by 20-plus points.
Yeah, and you can see, 12 of that in the end, that hab climb. Looks like Red Alliance actually picked up some penalty points as well, kind of counteracting what we saw, that the penalty that they committed. So comfortably there with the cargo, I think, taking the advantage. So that is a win for the Red Alliance. Our #1 seed is now advanced to the semifinals.
So they have punched their ticket and moved on. And convincing. Obviously, you want, consistency is really the most important aspect, right?
Yeah, for sure. And they added, especially when you're the #1 seed, they added actually 2 points. They went from 74 points to 76 points. So even getting better with the third blue robot, playing in that match, contributing to that match. So that's a strong showing. Typically what you'll see is the #1 Alliance, if they can execute their game plan, the tournament is theirs to lose. So they need that consistency. You're going to see much less consistency from lower-seeded alliances, where they kind of have to take more risk, right, to try to upset the higher seeds.
So now a chance to continue and move in with the Potterville Nomads as we check out the Blue Alliance and the Brighton Gems. And we will head down right now, an interview with the winning Red Alliance team as we rejoin Alexis Downing.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here with the #1 team mentor and one of the members of the team. Guys, what went so well in that last match?
We got a lot of movement on the field. We're scoring a lot of game pieces. We had good coordination with our alliance partners. We swapped sides of the field multiple times. I think we got some good motion on the field. Yeah.
And how have you been helping this team work their way through this competition?
So I've been the drive coach, and my main role is making sure that we know where to place game pieces and what game piece we're going to get during the match.
And what are some of the things that you think might be a little bit difficult moving forward?
Definitely defense. Defense is very effective against us. We need to work on getting around the defense and continuing to score with the defense.
What's one of the favorite things on your robot?
Definitely our arm. We can pick up and score on both sides. Our arm pivots over the top of our robot. It's really cool.
Very cool. Well, congratulations on the last win and good luck in the next.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
Alexis, good stuff. Thank you. And it looks like a little bit of a field repair going on right now. So,
yeah, zoom in there of our loading station. Gary Benda's there in the back. He's our field supervisor. It's his job to make sure mechanically everything stays together. And of course, our FTA Melissa also helping out. So there are these brushes. You can buy them at Home Depot, actually. They're just like brushes for the bottom of doors. And they actually are mounted there to hold those panels in place. So when you see those panels drop down, the reason why they don't immediately fall on the field is those brushes are holding them in. But when a team grabs it, they can pull right through the brushes. And looks like there was some damage to one of the blocks that hold the brushes, and they're going to be putting a new one on.
And if you're keeping score at home, and of course you are, Dan Kimura knows pretty much every single person personally that's working on the field. You've name dropped everybody so far. Well done.
If it's the technical staff, I've probably worked with them at an event in the past, so yeah. But you know, everybody here has been doing a great job at this event, just keeping stuff running, and you'll see stuff like this happening just, you know, constantly throughout the event. These are big robots. They're 120 pounds plus up to 15 pounds of bumpers plus 15 pounds of battery. So you got 150-pound machines down there slamming into stuff, and it's going to show some wear and tear after a couple days.
And now let's hear from one of our main sponsors, Ford.
First initially invited me to be a judge 21 years ago, and I got hooked immediately. I was immediately inspired and looked forward to coming back every year since. Ford is interested in being a part of this program because the students are learning the skills that we use every day. We have over 500 employees as mentors to teams across the country. More than just the technical competency, they're learning the culture about cooperation and professionalism, being gracious competitors. So that's all important in our business. In the auto industry, we collaborate on various projects across different companies. The students in FIRST, they have lots of great insights, lots of great experience. As they come and join our company, they're going to help us define what our customers are going to need in the future. That's all success that Ford Motor Company wants to encourage. So the skills that the students are learning and demonstrating through the FIRST experience is directly applicable, and they're going to feel right at home in our industry.
Well, obviously events like this don't happen with just, you know, sweat equity. You need the corporate enterprises to step in, and you know, there's a long list of companies. Ford is one of them. Just so many great businesses that are willing to reinvest in, you know, engineering and the future of what can grow in this state. So, you know, just a great thing to rally around.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can see down here below us that row of people with the blue shirts on. Those are all judges, and most of them are coming from those companies. So we just saw, yep, got some great shots of our judges there. They actually give out a whole bunch of awards here. We heard earlier about the Ford Autonomous Award. We also have, you know, technical excellence. We're giving awards out to, you know, the best business plans, as well as, you know, you get all kinds of stuff. We have an award called the Chairman's Award, which we give out to sort of the team that is the exemplary role model team at the event. And those judges are interviewing every single one of these teams to make their choices.
Still working. What do you think? How do you think that happened?
I'm guessing that a robot, their mechanism got in there and pulled out on that little brush holder instead of pulling out the the hatch panel that we can see here. Well, we'll see. They'll give it a test, and that looked pretty good.
That's fixed to me.
That one's sticking a little bit. We'll see. We want to make sure the field is fair, though, right? Before we start, we don't want to give an advantage to one alliance over the other because something is wrong with the field. But I think that looked good. I think they're happy with that.
So as we're ready to go. Another quarterfinal match. We already know one team that's advanced to the semifinals. This is where it broke. We were just speculating on how it,
yep.
Oh, right there.
And you could see it, yep. Robot kind of came in sideways, clipped that brush. It looks like they ended up having to take all the brushes off, though, and kind of work on them all at once there. All right. Looks like the field delay might have caused something to happen in the driver's station. Looks like we got a, in blue here, looks like we got a shot of the teams. I think that laptop actually went to sleep and they had to wake it back up, but they're ready to go.
And away we go. The sandstorm begins. And one Red Alliance robot, a slow start getting off. That's the Yale Gigawatts from Yale Senior High School. Finally, they're displaced. Now the curtains come up and away we go.
Yep, no rush there. They dropped their hatch panel at the beginning, so as long as they cross the line, they're getting all the points they're going to get.
Good scoring in the sandstorm period. Now, let's watch those cargo. Let's watch the cargo ship get loaded up. Blue Alliance trying to pour it in.
And very close right now, 21-20 for the Blue Alliance. We see a score from 71-74, the Protobots.
Yeah, Yale Gigawatts trying to place one of the hatch panels on one of their rockets. Looks like Blue Alliance a momentary lead. Now Red Alliance reclaims it.
Yeah, we saw a dropped ball there by the Nomad 7254 out of Potterville. And that sort of is our difference right now. Red pulling slowly ahead. And remember, Red lost this match, the first matchup. They lost it 46-52. So they need this one to stay in it.
Oh, good defense there by the Red Alliance and the Protobots robot moving that Robo-Rams robot for the Blue Alliance.
They were perfectly happy. They were lined up and just got taken right out of that shot.
Robo-Rams with a good pickup. Trying to put that ball, that cargo ball in. They do. Boy, this is
couple bounces.
Yeah, a couple bounces, but it went in. That cargo ship getting very filled up. One of the Red Alliance rockets has 2 cargo balls on their base in that rocket.
Yep, and we'll have to see if that one counts. I'm actually not sure what the rule is. I think the hatch panel on one side is on the ground, so I know the hatch panel doesn't count, but the ball is staying inside the rocket. So we'll see if they get the 3 points for that.
Sometimes gravity helps.
Yep. Another great climb by 6344. The Yale Gigawatts again up there on level 3.
Blue Alliance kind of struggling getting on the level. Well, they're all over the place. They're not going to get anyone in that center spot. And that's going to cost them points. Red Alliance wasn't perfect either, but it looks like they're going to have enough to win this match.
Yeah, I think so too. That one level 3 climb is very strong. They did miss one. You can see in the front ground here, one Red robot is just off the edge. They missed their run there. Blue, all kinds of chaos, though, trying to get their climbs done at the end. And I think that's due to them playing late in the match. They knew they were behind in score, and they were just staying on the field longer to try to make up those points. And Autonomous, yeah, drop the hatch panel there. They're not that concerned about that. As long as you get across that red tape line, there it is for 3 points. They're happy enough. And this is the Robo-Rams out of Holt Senior High School. Just doing a nice job of making sure those balls go in.
Are you noticing a stronger improvement from the second set of matches from the first?
I think that the teams have had a chance to settle down now. It looks a little bit more cohesive. They're making better decisions, but You know, every match is you're going to get a wrench thrown at you. So we saw some hard defense there, making a difference. The Red Alliance really taking them out of play for a bit. But this happened in the first one. It happened in the second one. This Yale team is just, they're prepared.
Dialed in.
They're going to get those 12 points every match.
And there's the Blue Alliance kind of struggling, the Nomads. As we bring the final score up, Red Alliance winning 59-44. They win the climb, they win the cargo, they win the hatch panels. Not by much, but by just a little bit. That's enough to tip them in the win.
Yeah, for sure. And we saw that, you know, just close match all along. And then, you know, they sealed it with that third level climb.
So the tiebreaker match now will be forced as a result. So we're going to go to 3 matches between these two alliances.
Yeah, and that last match is always a tough one.
And we move ahead now to our next pairing. Oh, well, before we do that, we'll go in the pits and rejoin Alexis Downey. Alexis?
Hi, guys. I'm down here with Justin and Mohammed. Congratulations on the win as an alliance. That was the first one of the 2 matches that you've had. What went well in that match?
Well, our bots didn't flip over. That was the biggest thing. First match was pretty rough with 2 bots that couldn't move. So in this competition, we were all moving and scoring. So that is really a big help.
Yeah, last time only 1 robot was practically functional, and then this time all 3 were good, and we got a lot more points. So because of that.
And moving on into the next match is going to be a big, important one for you guys. What are you going to continue to do well in order to capture that win?
It's just take it slow and score the points.
Yeah, so take it easy, doing the same exact thing we did this match. Hope for the best.
And what's the best thing about this competition for both of your teams?
It's just the experience here, the environment here. There's so much energy. It's just a fun experience. So.
Yeah, you try to help out all teams, whether maybe they're your opponent this time, and then next match they're not. Maybe they're your alliance partners. So you're always helping out all teams, no matter who they are.
It becomes like a family, huh?
Yeah.
Do you have any mentors that have kind of helped you along the way to get to where you are today?
Yeah, our mentors are so amazing. They're so great. They help us out and things that we don't know. They got more experience than us. We're a rookie team, and all 3 of our mentors have previous experience in first. So it's huge to have just their experience.
We have our biggest mentor is actually our coach also, who spends way too much time on robotics, honestly. And then he's really dedicated. It's our 2nd year right now, and he's doing a great job with all that FRC. It's a big task.
Well, good luck in your next match. Back to you guys.
Alexis, thank you. Yeah, good comment. He says the coach spends too much time with them. It's great though. That's the only way these guys learn, right?
I know that feeling. Yeah, it's an intense program. We talked about the 6 weeks, and you got to put in a lot of hours after work to get these robots finished. Some more brush work going on, we can see.
Same problem. Is it the same area or somewhere different?
It's the same. That's the same corner that they're working on there. So they were content with the fix for 1 match, but it looks like they want to try to do a little bit more.
So this is back to the first time that it got dislodged. Well,
yeah,
when a big robot meets thin plastic, well.
Just lifting their arm a little too fast before they were in position and knocking that brush right off.
So will they do a deeper repair or?
Yeah, it looks like they might have ripped the holes that were holding that brush in place. And so they drilled a new set of holes so they can bolt it in a slightly different spot here. And that should hold then once they get that back on. So let's see, talk about the kids have pressure during the match. Right now everybody's watching them fix this brush so we can get underway.
Yeah. And I don't even want to bring up a word, but last year, was last year the power failure? Was it last year?
We did have a power failure.
And that was about a 90-minute cooling period, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
So it could be worse than just having a little issue on the field. So we are, yes, waiting for a match to start.
It's actually a ref panel there / scoring panel. So they use that. There's going to be 2 people working this panel, a referee who can enter penalties there, and also an official scorer who is going to mark when balls, cargo, and those hatch panels get placed. And that's how we can see the live score throughout the match.
But the energy never really fades, though. There's always, some energy in the building. One thing, Dan, we always like to talk about is the fact that teams invariably always end up helping other teams. Let's take a look at how that process works.
If any team comes up and asks you for help, you always help them.
Some of the rookie teams, they need help with, let's say they need a part that we'll lend them, or they, just for example, a team here, they actually only had 1 student on their team, and we sent a few students to kind of help them work through their robot and try and get them up and running again.
We always love helping other teams and doing whatever we can to help them learn and grow.
For my team, I think it was rather unique because we were just splitting off from our sister team. So I actually had a lot of upperclassmen from an opposing high school as well as our own that were helping me learn the ropes.
Especially because you're working as a team, you're never going to be doing something individually, so having to cooperate with not only your own team, but also other teams and learning new things, especially when you're a rookie team. Our team is a veteran team. We've been doing this for 11 years now, so it's our responsibility to help other teams for sure.
Well, today we had a very big problem about our batteries. Our batteries were not charged properly, so we had to get help from other teams.
There's been instances even this season where we've traded parts, say that they need for their kit of parts chassis that we don't need. So we'll give them those parts that they need and they'll give us parts that we need.
It was just our pit charging station was not working, so teams offered to come out and let us use their charging station.
It's more like a family, the whole first program, in order for us to all work together and help each other while also competing.
Just because you're competing doesn't mean you can't be friends and be good colleagues. So.
Yeah, it's not rare that it's kind of in a team sport that's an athletic event. You don't get that kind of, team spirit, but they have it here. Here we roll into our next matchup here.
Yep, and a reminder here, Red won this first matchup, their first match, 69-64, so a very, very close match.
Evenly matched as, again, we're getting closer to finding out who's going to be our 4 semifinalists.
A little bit of a jam going on that loading station up at the top for Red, but 308 Walled Lake handles it no problem as they start working on that top rocket.
Blue Alliance and Red Alliance very close here. 61-93 for Blue Alliance, trying to load up that cargo ship. That's the Legend of Robotics, coming all the way from Bay City.
And we see Blue hanging even here, keeping it close, but they've only got 2 more spots in the cargo ship left. And then they're going to have to put some hatch panels up, and they haven't put a single one up yet this match.
Red Alliance filling up the rocket primarily. Now they dump a little bit into the cargo ship.
Yeah, they just, by putting those panels up, they have more places to score, and I think that's what we're going to see now is Blue can score 2 more easy cargo for 6 points, and then it's going to start getting way slower for them.
And another hatch panel Red trying to place another hatch panel on the rocket. They do.
Yep, so 2 more places to put cargo, and they still have 2 spots left in the cargo ship, whereas Blue's cargo ship is now full. So they've got to get hatch panels up or they're going to fall behind.
Yeah, this is still very close. Another good cargo ball placement for the Red Alliance in that rocket. They are heavily invested in filling that rocket with cargo.
And we can see, too, that's an 11-point lead now.
There's a Blue Alliance robot that seems to be, well, now they got it back online. That's the Sting from Detroit Country Day.
Yeah, just not driving the way they want it to drive. And they have a ball, they're out on the field, but there's nowhere to put it because there's no hatch panels.
Blue Alliance going to go all in on the levels, trying to go on the side levels. Red Alliance already has their greater robotics robot in that center spot, and they're going to have a big lead here as time ends.
Yeah, so looking at the end game, 2 6s and a 3 for blue, 1 12 and a 3 for red, so that should be a wash. Red's advantage going into that end game period should be enough to see them through to the semifinals, but we will have to wait for the final scores here.
Let's roll into our highlight package.
And you can see blue on the cargo ship where there's spaces to put those cargo. They're able to score them quickly and efficiently. It's later that they started falling behind once that was full. And we can see 308, that big difference maker there on that red rocket. 2 levels of hatch panels in place. That's a lot more places that they can go to score that cargo. And here's a great look at 308 going to level 2 and 5561 on level 3 for the 15 points total. Blue does answer back in this final period. Again, that teamwork, 835 working with 7598 to get them up on that level 2.
And let's bring it final now. Another Red Alliance win, so they win 2-0, and that's going to move them on.
That's what we saw, so, a great showing from our number 2 alliance, and their scores are not too far off from what we've seen from our number 1 alliance, so if they meet in the finals, we could be in for a good match there. Good look at the chaos on the field as we've got to get 3 robots off from blue and 3 more robots on.
Never a dull moment here at in Milford. Sometimes a challenge logistically to find schools that are big enough that have the ability to host these events. It's not every school is cut out for it and can manage it.
Yep, and it's not just the main gym. You need a big enough auxiliary gym for the pits too.
Let's go down to Alexis Downey in the pits.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here with Thomas and Antonio from the Red Alliance after their win. Congratulations on that win. That's moving you forward into the semifinals. What was working so well in your alliance in the last 2 matches?
Well, for us, I think it was more of the cargo. Like, we were able to shoot it well. My robot had some difficulties towards the end because we ended up breaking all of our wires that shoot out the ball, but we had a good alliance that helped us with it.
For us, it was basically just working on cargo and helping out where we could. Our biggest thing was the climb. That's 12 points, big deal. And then for the Team 308, the Monsters, our other partner, we basically just let them do what they do best, which is the rocket, and they did that pretty well. So that's what happened.
What do you think your biggest achievement so far has been throughout this tournament so far?
We got 6 balls into the hatches, or no, like into the cargo ship, which we usually only get like 3 to 4. So I thought that was a lot, and it was really fun.
Our biggest accomplishment is that throughout this entire competition, we haven't failed a single climb. We've been 100% successful, and I think that's something to be proud of.
And what's one of the best things about being here with your team?
It's honest. So, just building the robot I thought was fun, and then seeing it compete here it's nice.
Just the atmosphere. It's a great team, great competitive sport. It's something you don't really see in a lot of sports where people actually contribute. It's not just one person doing everything. It's a team effort.
Is there anything that you want to change as an alliance heading into the semifinals?
I want our robot to be fully functional for this match. That'd be nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we're doing well as we are, so nothing major.
Well, good luck, guys, and back up to you guys.
Okay, Alexis, thank you. And another robot down. Let's see where that, we can see it on through the camera. My naked eye doesn't tell me where it's at in the arena, though. Is it
hard
behind?
to see. It's blue right here in the middle.
Yeah, in the middle.
Oh, they got a roll of tape. Got some vice grips.
That's the Trobots. The robot named Elevatron from Whitmore Lake High School.
Trying to figure out what's going on here. It looks like, it's kind of hard to tell from this position, but it looks like that robot is not inside its starting configuration. So robots have to start within a certain size, and you can kind of tell the bumpers around the outside of the robot, all of the mechanisms of the robot have to start inside of those bumpers, and it looks like they have an appendage here, a collector to suck up the cargo that tips out, and it looks like it was not staying up and folded in. But it looks like it is staying now. So the ref came out, saw that it was tipped down, said, you guys got to fix this. We can't start the match until it's fixed. And they were able to do so. Now, a lot of times these quick fixes on the field, though, don't always work. So we got to see if the match starts, if that's functional.
So it's like a Band-Aid.
Yeah,
it's
a Band-Aid.
You hope.
Yep.
But you don't know.
We'll know just as soon as it gets going, though.
So the Trobot, we think, has been fixed, and away we go.
And our number 3 alliance in red versus number 6 in blue. Our number 3 alliance in red winning the first matchup 73-47 and jumping out to an early lead here in autonomous mode as well.
So the curtains come up. And we're diving right in. Red Alliance and Blue Alliance. This is very close. Hatch panel. A couple of Red Alliance robots bump each other.
Yeah, it's really important to have good coordination. We talked about how a defensive robot can clog that channel, but you can clog that channel against yourself if you're not, coordinated with your partners.
Robot 5460, the strike zone from Lapeer. Their Genesis robot, a successful hatch panel place on the higher level.
Yep.
Why would you go high and not go low?
I think they might actually be able to see that one better. It might be easier for their robot to go up high there. We've seen a little bit of that from them this weekend.
They're working on the rocket. They've already got a few cargo balls in the cargo ship in the middle. Blue Alliance, a modest lead, a lot of time left. And we're looking at, not a whole lot of defense. Well, there is a little bit.
On the top on red, yeah, they're really shutting down that lane. They just chose to leave, but they slowed 35-36 down for a good 15 seconds up there. That's on, but
barely.
Barely. That counts for the 2 points, but I don't know if I'd drop a cargo in that.
Good point. And they're working on the rocket on the other side, the Red Alliance is. So they're trying to get them on both rockets. Blue Alliance really hasn't gone heavy on their rockets yet. They do have a cargo ball in on one rocket, though.
Yeah, that bottom is the only safe rocket that they've got for Blue. Red, I think, a really smart move to switch sides of the field there. Basically spread out your scorers. It's gonna limit the effect that a defensive robot can have. Got 30 seconds left, so we see 35-36. The Electro Eagles going for their climb.
Yeah, that's Swervy. That's the name of their robot. So Swervy's well in place. I don't know, though. Not quite all the way up yet.
We didn't see that lift in the first match either, costing them those points.
Maybe that's why they started early again. They're all in on trying to get on that on those levels. Blue Alliance doesn't look like they're going to have enough to get that center square.
No, I don't think any robots are capable on the Blue Alliance. And that was close, but the Electro Eagles did finish that climb this time.
Not a great climb by the Blue Alliance, but looks like they've got about a 9 or 10 point cushion, but they have to tally everything up officially.
We'll see. And that one robot on the backside on Blue, I can't tell if that wheel is touching the tier 1 ramp or not, but it's close. So that's a 3-point potential difference.
Let's break down our highlights from this match. Very close. So there's the cargo being placed in this cargo ship by the Blue Alliance.
Just consistent, getting all of the points that they have available to them there. Here's the Electro Eagles kind of doing the same. You can see some good movement sideways there from
That's
that
a
robot.
very good robot. A lot of robots don't move side to side that efficiently.
No, they're using something we call a swerve drive, which is, I think, where the name Swervy is coming from.
You call it a swerve drive.
We call it a swerve drive.
I have no idea what that is.
Yeah, so they actually have steerable wheels on the bottom that will let them turn the wheels to go in any direction. Good hatch panel placement there. And we see this climb again.
Not picture perfect.
Yeah. They got there, though. The points count. But, man, I was nervous the whole time. And here's what we're seeing on the other side out of the Trobots here, 3668. They got that small wheel in the back, and I think they never are able to lift that off Tier 1. And that's the difference between a 6-point and a 3-point. But
there it is.
Yeah, Blue Alliance ahead enough. They fell down 8 points in the hab climb in our end game. They fell down 9 points, sorry, but managed to hold on to a 2-point win. And that evens up our quarterfinal matchup here at 1 apiece.
Every point counts. And that's going to even that one up at 1 apiece. So we're still continuing our quarterfinals.
And that's a big improvement for Blue. Blue went from 47 points in the first match to 72 in that second match there.
Look at how well the cargo points were for both teams. 36. Half of their points were cargo points.
Yeah, and like I said, everywhere there's an opening, they're putting those cargo balls in.
Back in the pits, we go with Alexis Downey.
Hey, thanks, guys. I'm down here with Gabriel and Matt. Great win for the Blue Alliance. Tell me a little bit about how that win came into play.
We had a lot of teamwork. Our bot is a very fast, low-level bot, so we use that to our advantage to get as many hatches as we can. And these guys and our other Alliance members are very good cargo bots, so that was really helpful with them being quick and doing their job.
How have you been working together as an Alliance so well, especially in that last match?
So one of the interesting things is that in our first match, our game plan was off, and we were able to come back outside in the hallway and re-come up with a plan that fit into all of our strong suits, and then just execute it. We stayed out of each other's ways, and it just worked.
A little bit of teamwork before always makes a difference. What's one of the best things about your robot?
Ours is a very light and fast robot, so it can get where it needs to go very quickly.
And now what about your robot?
We're really great at getting the cargo into the cargo ship, and our level 2 climb is 100%.
Do you have any mentors that have helped both of your teams?
Our mentor has been a really great help to all of us, I think. You know, we've had a great collaboration of the teams. It's been really good.
Now, what was the hardest design challenge for your robot?
We knew going into the season that we wanted to be able to kind of drop cargo out both sides of the robot, but it took a lot of work to figure out how to actually get that and keep the chassis low enough that we didn't get anything in the way.
So moving forward into the next match, it's going to be an important one for your team. How is that going to go about happening, and what are you going to do to maybe change your game plan?
We're going to get with the other two teams, and we're going to see what we want to do, if we want to change it or if we want to stay the same. It all kind of depends on how everyone's feeling about how going into the next match.
Well, good luck to your Blue Alliance. Back up to you guys.
All right, Alexis, thanks. Yeah, team's getting a little more confidence in their robots, too. You know, it's always a learning curve.
Yeah, for sure.
Always a learning curve. And here we go.
Yep, so again, this series here is tied 1 apiece. This is number 4 versus number 5. Number 4 wearing the red bumpers, number 5 in blue.
Nomad's trying to load the cargo ship. Red Alliance kind of fumbling around just a little bit.
A little bit of a slower start.
Yeah. Boy, they got a fast robot there on that far side. The OSTC Southwest. That robot has some zip.
Yep. You can tell usually when robots are moving that quickly across the field, they're probably a little bit underweight.
And then there's a balance issue too. Sometimes those robots can tip over.
Yeah, for sure.
Blue Alliance all in on the cargo ship.
72-54 is just controlling that side of the field right now.
That's the Nomads from Potterville High School.
Yep, they didn't just slow down 71-74, they made them miss the shot. So they had to go recollect the ball, and now we're going to have part 2 of that battle.
Yeah, they're going again. Oh, another hit.
Another miss.
Another drop.
Yep. That's keeping Blue in it. 5-point lead for Blue right now.
Hey, a lot of coaches will tell you offense wins games, defense wins championships. That's defense right there.
Yeah, and they might need to go somewhere else with that ball. Maybe turn around, go low in the rocket. Looks like
they're going to load up again. That was not a hard hit. See if he gets another one. No, too late.
Yep. He left a window that time. And now, being on top of the other robot like that, that is actually a penalty. You're not allowed to climb up and stay on top of the other robot. So we're going to see at least a few penalty points swinging back in Red's favor there.
That's not good. This is very close as we hit the 40-second mark.
And as those penalties hit the scoreboard, that's a now 7-point lead, 46-39 for Red. Ooh, another missed shot there in the front for a Red Alliance. That was 75-53. Again, that OSTC machine. And Blue hitting.
20 seconds left. Cargo ships look pretty well filled up. 63-44 Yale Gigawatts. They did their climb on that highest level. Blue Alliance, wow.
It comes down to Blue.
Oh, and they fell back off.
Blue needs to climb here.
And they're hung up on that side.
Yeah.
Oh, some bad driving's going to hurt them quite a bit.
And to be fair, basically Dukes of Hazzarding their way up to level 2 is not an easy thing for the drivers to do. But missing it by just a little bit is definitely going to hurt. That Yale Gigawatts team again, clean level 3 climb at the end. They go with plenty of time, just calm every time they're up there. 12 points.
Yeah, it ends unofficially. Looks like a 20-point swing. Let's see how it unfolded here.
So this is in Sandstorm, missed hatch panel, and a second hatch panel not placed in time. So we saw a lot of misses by the Red Alliance this match, but they were able to make up for that a little bit in the end game. Blue, again, that cargo ship, that's their bread and butter.
Good climbs by the Red Alliance.
And you can really see the difference when you can go slow and controlled.
Yeah.
It's easier to not make a mistake. There, they had no choice. That's how they get up. They hit it hard, but just coming off the side, getting high-centered on a ball there, you know, and they're not going to be able to come from behind. Red Alliance celebrating. I think they've got the win with that end game, but we do have to wait for the final scores here.
Yeah. Well, there's a time for speed, and there's a time for precision.
Yep.
Blue Alliance didn't need speed, they needed precision, and it looks like they're, you know, that wasn't the only factor, but it was a significant factor.
Yep, and that's kind of the mantra. You hear it all the time. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Here's our final numbers. Red Alliance winning and advancing.
And it's, I mean, look at those hab climb points, right? There's 18 points there. Looks like they would have had it by 2 without that. But again, if Blue had stuck their level 2, that's going to be another 6 points for the Blue Alliance there. The other Blue Alliance robot got back. All of a sudden, it gets really close. But, you know, those 21 hab climb points, just too much.
Blue Alliance wins heavy on cargo, but they give it back in the hab climb, and that's enough to let Red move on. And we go back in the pits to Alexis.
On the Blue Alliance. Unfortunately, tough loss today, but it came down just to the stretch. What were some of the things that you thought went well during the match?
I think during the match, we did a really good job of rotating effectively. We had a plan and we executed it. Maybe it wasn't up to par, but we played well as an alliance.
What was a piece of advice that you gave your group coming into the match?
To be ready for what happens. It's a district event and we're looking towards the whole season. This is mostly for practice at this point. Obviously we want to win and we want to advance, but it's a learning experience above all.
Is there anything on your robot that you might look to change in another event?
Absolutely. Our robot is designed to be improved throughout the season. We're still looking towards improving our game piece detection, towards improving our computer vision based placement, and we're going to make our climber more functional for the next event.
Well, good luck in a future district event. Thank you for being down here. We're going to bring in one more from the Red Alliance, the winner. Why don't you introduce yourself to the viewers?
Jared McCormick from Yale High School.
So it came down to the wire. What did your team execute so well as your team and an alliance?
Mainly what we execute perfectly is our climb, but we have been practicing a lot with hatches on the rocket, and I think that really gave us an edge, allowing us to put more hatches, giving us more opportunity to fill cargo, and then with that last second climb, we're able to give ourselves 12 more points.
Heading into the semifinals, is there anything that you'd like to change for your alliance?
No, I think we did phenomenal out there. I mean, 70 points in a championship match, that was pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. How's the crowd playing a factor into this competition?
They are hyping us up. They're giving us a lot of energy and motivation to do as well as we can out there.
Well, good luck into the semifinals. Back up to you guys.
All right, Alexis, thank you. And yeah, the semifinals await, so things shaping up fairly well here.
And we got one more semifinalist to find here. Number 3 Alliance in red versus the number 6 Alliance in blue. Tied 1 apiece. Remember, this was the 2-point victory for blue to keep it alive in their last match. See a good shot there of the Blue Alliance trying to capture those balls for the free extra points. They made one hatch panel, missed the other. And we see Red kind of taking an early lead.
Yeah, they go in the middle for the cargo ships. Now Red Alliance working on the rocket. They put up one hatch panel. Not a lot of defense going on here. Both teams just kind of taking care of their own business. 65-50, the Wildcat Robotics, they will place a hatch panel on their rocket. So their lower level on that rocket, near side is covered.
Yep, Strike Zone doing the same. 54-60 there on the red rocket, but they went middle row again, as we've seen them do.
Robot roll call from Bendel High School.
And this is a good choice. The Blue Alliance coming over to play some defense. Well, they're leaving now, so.
Boy, we got some good scores here early. Cargo ship filling up for blue. Red's got it filled up. See if they go to work on the rockets anytime soon. Another hatch panel going on for the Red Alliance. 54-60, the Strike Zone with the Genesis robot.
But now blue finally taking advantage of that rocket on the front side.
One cargo ball in. One robot having trouble, and that's the Electro Eagles. That's Swerve. He's going to elevate Swerve.
I think it's good. They know it takes them time, so they're just not. They're going early.
Right.
They know how important these 12 points are. They're getting prepared for it. But defense now on the blue side, you know, 66-10 is just kind of getting in there, getting in their way a little bit. We're seeing a 5-point lead for Red right now. But time is getting tight for those climbs.
The winner is going to be in the semifinals, and this is going to go right down to the wire. Teams trying to get their levels. Red Alliance has 2, now all 3. Blue Alliance trying to get that center one. That's the Wildcat Robotics.
And does Strike Zone get their tail up? I don't think they do. I think Strike Zone is down on level 1. So. Yep, that is definitely still touching. So Strike Zone going to get only a level 1 climb for 3 points. So red, we're seeing 18. And blue, we're seeing 15. So it's going to be close in the end game, but we do think red had an edge going into that end game and might have just extended their lead a tiny bit.
So the level 3 climb, that's the one you really want. That's maximum points, right?
Yeah, 12 points. It's twice as much as level 2. Only 6 points for level 2. And only 3 points for level 1. So you can tell why Electro Eagles are going with, you know, so much time left in the match. It's just those points are so key.
So the Blue Alliance could not generate points when they made their level, when they efforted in their level effort.
Yeah, and we can see, I mean, so they had the 2 level 2s and 1 level 1, leaving 6 points on the table. And it's a 6-point victory for the Red Alliance.
So close. Red Alliance 3 points better in the half climb, 3 points better in cargo. That was one terrific match.
Absolutely. And I mean, the last two matches, 70-72 for blue, and then 78-72 for red.
Here's how Red Alliance won it, but boy, it did not come easy.
Yeah, unlucky placement there. And this Blue Alliance really did struggle a little bit with getting hatch panels up on the rockets. So they were running out of places to score those cargo. Whereas we see Strike Zone here, definitely quicker at it. They like this high position. That one was a little questionable, but it did stick. And we see 35-36 already up, but 54-60 waiting just a little bit too long to come back, I think. On blue, 36-68 here, Trobots out of Whitmore Lake.
If they had just gotten that Wildcat Robotics, that would have done it.
Yep.
Didn't happen. We go to Alexis.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here with Brandon Vivian. He works at GM, and he has a son who is participating in this competition. How did you get involved, and how did your son get into it?
So the robotics team for the General Motors has sponsored has been in place for many, many years here at Milford High School, and we're the sponsor of this district event competition. And so my son knew about it from our involvement throughout the high school, and filtering down into the middle schools and even into elementary school. So he's been a part of it, starting at the robotics, the Lego robotics.
How has it kind of shaped him into who he is today and kind of made you guys have a nice bond?
So I'm an engineer, and a lot of things that go on here are very engineering. You're solving a lot of engineering problems, and so he's been able to really see him get excited about developing a strategy and then putting a plan together and developing and building parts and actually coming to a competition and doing it with a group of people in a way that's very exciting.
What are some of the valuable skills that these kids learn being a part of FIRST?
So there's a number of things that they learn. And as I mentioned earlier, starting with just determining how you're going to go about the competition. That is a key part, is kind of planning first before you just go and do, and that's a very important skill to learn. And that, along with camaraderie with your teammates and developing a real bond and teamwork, is very important. And then those skills carry over. We're using those same skills in all of our engineers that we hire. In fact, we look for kids that have come out of this type of competition. They're spending their own time to do this. They're very excited and passionate, and those are the people that we look for.
Now, what's your favorite thing about watching your son compete?
His enthusiasm, watching everyone get excited and watching him get excited, and you could see the tense moments and the celebration and the disappointment. Just seeing all that is really my favorite part.
Yeah, it's very special. Well, thank you for being here with us. Back up to you guys. All right, we're good. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Alexis, thank you. We're back here, and we've got a semifinals coming up. We're finally there with a break here at Milford. Our first Robotics Game Day continues in a moment.
Hey, did you know that's recyclable?
No. Who are you?
We're the Green Team.
A what?
A green team, sustainability-focused teams of employees at your local headquarters, open to anyone. They empower members to lead projects and make changes that ultimately create a greener, more sustainable future.
What do they do?
From park cleanups and volunteer events to introducing recycling initiatives and networking, there are plenty of activities, both indoor and out, that you won't want to miss.
We aim to reduce the company's environmental footprint and better the communities in which we live, work, and play. Team members collaborate to promote the use of sustainable business practices with a focus on 3 main areas: people, planet, and profit.
For instance, did you hear about all the events during Earth Month?
There's an entire Earth Month?
Oh yeah. At Consumers Energy, every April is Earth Month. Green teams plan volunteer events statewide, planting trees, cleaning up parks and beaches, raising awareness for recycling, and more.
It's about making a difference. Earth Month is a huge volunteer effort, but the green teams are active all year. We also offer webinars and networking for employees. We even have social events after work sometimes.
So if you're looking for an opportunity to be an agent of change, accumulate some volunteer hours, work on your leadership skills, and get some fresh air while you're doing it, the Green Team is definitely for you.
We are set for the semifinals here at Milford High School. 1 seed versus 4 seed, 2 seed versus 3 seed.
So no upsets in that first round. The higher seeded alliance winning all 4 matchups, but it wasn't easy, especially for number 4 and number 3, who had to go to 3 matches each, and especially that 3 versus 6 matchup, where we saw the last 2 matches decided by a total of 8 points.
Well, let's review the teams again and get you a little bit more familiar with how they've done so far. And by now, you're hoping, crossing your fingers, that most of the kinks are worked out. We're starting with Huron, the hot team.
Yeah, again, probably the most decorated team in the state of Michigan. 67, the hot team, 3 world championships, 4 state championships. They are always going to be a factor in the elimination rounds here.
Brighton Techno Dogs, their robot named Qbert.
And they're a team that has strong years and then sometimes have off years. Last year was a strong year, and this looks like another strong year, so they might be breaking through to the elite ranks here.
And then Maple City Laker Logistics.
Yep, an absolutely solid pickup here for the 3rd robot. They've been playing their role perfectly, and this alliance, I think, has been the most well-coordinated of our alliances today thus far.
Now we flip with the Yale Gigawatts.
Yeah, and they're the team that sort of is keeping this alliance afloat, making those level 2 climbs every single match, kind of anchoring their alliance as the captain here, and a strong rookie year in 2017 for that alliance.
Wixom OSTC Southwest.
Yep, another rookie team playing great. They've got that fast robot, able to get around the field quickly, and a good complement to that Yale team.
And then from Dearborn Heights.
Yeah, 71-74. They were the rookie all-star last year at Livonia. And again, another great pickup. We're seeing good defense played by that robot. Actually, all of our 3rd robots here have been doing a great job.
Yeah, they're kind of the X factor. They're the ones that are kind of getting their feet wet and starting to get their first taste of big-time competition.
So here in Sandstorm, number 1 alliance already got 2 hatch panels placed, and I think the Brighton Techno Dogs there, you can see them. They capped off both of those front spots on the cargo ship, keeping both of the balls captured.
Red Alliance already playing defense. Good defense at that.
Absolutely.
And that's the Laker Logistics robot.
There's nowhere to go there. And we talked about that choke point on the field. It's just so narrow through there that, look, it's hard to get in. And now that they're in, even once they score, it's going to be hard to get out.
Yeah. Trying to place that hatch panel on the 1 rocket. That's the OSTC Southwest robot. Finally just lost it.
Yeah, and remember, that backside of the rocket that they were trying to place that on is actually blind. They can't see it directly. So they're using those cameras and sensors again on their robot to try to assist them with that. So it's a really hard place to score.
37-07, the Brighton Techno Dogs working without interference, but a mishandle on that cargo ball. The nice recovery, though, they'll try and reload and drop it in that cargo ship. In the middle, they get not 1, but 2 as the hot team helps.
Yeah, a little bit too fast on the first one, but with that swerve drive, their ability to move sideways, you know, they can recover from those mistakes faster than most teams.
Hot team, again, loading up in the middle in that cargo ship. Neither team working in the rocket. Well, Blue Alliance does have 1 on the far side. It seems like the cargo ships are getting a lot of attention now.
Yeah, I think Red got 2, 4, 5 hatch panels already on their rocket ships. Just taking a break to make sure they get those easy 3-pointers before they go back to the harder rocket ships.
Blue Alliance working on one of their rockets. They're going to go low and maybe a little bit slow. They got 1 ball in. They want to get another. Now they pull it back out. Red Alliance already has two cargo balls in one of their rockets. The other one has 2 as well.
Yeah,
so that's why the big lead for
73 to 44. Red's up by enough that you see with plenty of time left. 67 is on top of level 3. They're going to sit there for 15 seconds because they know they've got enough points as long as they don't mess up the climb at the end.
The hot team already gets the high level, and they got all of their robots on the lower level. Blue Alliance trying to push. 71-74 doesn't get up though.
Nope, but they do get 1 on level 3, 1 on level 2, so they will make up 3 points here in the end game. But as we saw, those rocket ship points, Red, I think, was just too far ahead.
A lot of high fives for the Red Alliance. If their score holds up, it's the best score we've had today, I think.
Yeah, and I think by a decent amount, too.
Yeah, not even close.
Yep.
By like 20 points.
Yeah. See, good shot of, that is the hot team, 67's team there. One of our bigger teams taking up a nice section of our stands here.
And there's your final. Solid win for the Red Alliance, 93-68. They win in cargo. That was where they had their big, hatch panels and cargo was
Right,
pretty
and
much
remember,
where they won.
Hatch panels enable the cargo, so that 18-8 advantage in hatch panel is what enabled that 36-24 advantage in cargo.
That's the trigger. Here's our highlight package from this last match.
And this is that defense by 55-62, just absolutely being a nightmare. And we didn't even see the 15 seconds it took for that robot to get back past them to even have a chance to score. Missed here. We talked about this miss by the Techno Dogs, but look, it's that easy. They've got the ball again in their back, and that really is a testament to their swerve drive and their driver. That is not an easy maneuver to pull off.
Good defense, too.
Yep, actually high hit, so they got called for a penalty there.
Okay.
Yep. 67, you can see how early they're parked. I mean, with just plenty of time left on the clock, they're done. That Yale robot, though, again, always impressive at the end game. They're getting up, they're waiting longer, which means they're almost showing they have more confidence in their level 3 climb than the 67 robot does. But again, it's those cargo points.
71-74 didn't make that high climb to level 2, but in the end, they didn't have enough. They were going to be well short no matter what.
Yeah. And I think that's where our number 4 alliance has got to change it up. They tried to go strength against strength. They tried to go offense against offense, and it didn't work for them. We saw the red team, the number 1 alliance, throwing that robot in there, being disruptive and slowing down their scoring. And I think the number 4 alliance is going to have to answer in the second match.
Let's bring in Alexis right now. Alexis?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with members from both alliances after that first match. Jake from the Red Alliance, what went so well? You guys had such a high score in that one.
One of the best things we did, none of the people on our team missed hatches. We had a lot of drops our first match due to jitters. I know we've ironed them out and we're running hard.
And on the other hand, tough first match. What do you think your alliance will do in this next one to hopefully get a win?
I think we'll try playing defense again, and if that doesn't work, we're just going to try the rocket again. We're up against the best team, so you kind of just try to pull out everything that you got.
What's some advice that you gave your alliance and your team coming into that match?
Stick to what we do best, and to not get worried, because once we get worried, we get overwhelmed and confused. After that, everything goes wrong.
What's one of the best things that you've experienced throughout this competition here today?
One of my favorite things about this competition is that teams, even when we're versing each other, we still help each other out, and it's still friendly competition, which is really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's something that you're looking forward to in the next match that you're hoping your alliance will do well?
I'm hoping we just keep performing at the level we've been performing at.
All right, thanks. Thanks, guys. Good luck in the next one. Back up to you guys.
All right, thanks, Alexis. And yeah, that's, we always expect, Dan, that these robots and these teams are going to keep peaking.
I am excited.
As the day unfolds.
Yeah, and I'm excited to hear them saying they're going to try some defense in the next match. I think that's going to close the gap a little bit.
So here we go with our second semifinal match.
Yep, number 2 alliance wearing the red bumpers this time. Number 3 changing over to the blue bumpers.
Yeah. Red Alliance with the Monsters robot from Walled Lake Central High School. They're close. The Raider Robotics from Flushing, 2-bit.
Pretty solid sandstorm by the Blue Alliance. They got one of those cargo balls trapped and a 7-point lead here at the start of driver control.
And Electro Eagles drops another ball in the cargo ship. Hatch panel going up for the Blue Alliance. Boy, they took a hit. There's some defense coming. Maybe a penalty. Was that waved off? Saw some arms moving on the official there.
I think it was a pin count, and then they vacated in time, so there was no penalty for that.
Good eye.
We'll see. 55-61 now is in position to make life difficult.
Flexing muscles, so to speak. The robot can do that. Well, he's all over the defense.
Yep.
He is just looking for Blue Robots to tee off on. Blue Alliance gets a cargo ball in that rocket ship. They are all in getting those hatch panels, trying to get them in position. And that red robot, that Red Alliance robot, Raider Robotics, will have none of it.
And you can see they need to get a couple more hatch panels up on this blue side. They're running out of places to score, so 66-10 again. Robot roll call just quietly filling up the cargo ship on the undefended side, but now they have nowhere left to score. So they're going to cross the field. They're going to look to play some defense against red. Maybe not. A little indecision there as they choose which way to go.
Red Alliance playing good defense, but their offense really hasn't caught up yet.
Yeah, but they do have 2 hatch panels on that rocket ship ready to go. They've got plenty of spots on the cargo ship, so they've just got to get some of those cargos scored.
Yeah, robot roll call. Talk about defense the other way. They're farther from our line of vision, but that's excellent defense on the far side of the field.
Yeah, they went back and forth a little bit trying to decide, but they did go to play some defense there, and I think that was important. It is really close going into endgame.
Level 3 is the climb there for the Electro Eagles.
Yep.
Raider Robotics with a level 3 climb.
Strike zone pulling off the last second here. Level 2. I think we're at parity here. 1 level 3, 1 level 2, and 1 level 1 for each side.
And that's a very, very close score. Unofficially, it's 4 points ahead for Blue over the Red Alliance.
Blue Alliance looking pretty happy about that.
Yeah, thought the Blue Alliance was going to be in trouble with the defense that Red Alliance was playing, but they persevered and overcame.
Yeah, and Red needed to take a little bit more advantage of their undefended time. So when that 66-10 robot roll call was scoring the cargo in the cargo ship, Red was free. It was undefended.
There's your final. That score is going to stand. Oh, those cargo points, only 3 points. Hatch panels, cargo points.
Yep. And that's it. A little bit in sandstorm as well, but I mean those cargo points could have been better for the Red Alliance. They focused maybe too soon on those hatch panels. So they had hatch panels on the rocket ship that weren't used, and they missed out on some of the scoring in their cargo ship. 66-10 there. This is what I'm talking about. They just quietly on the undefended side of the field fill up those 3 spots on the cargo ship for 9 points before they went to play defense. 55-61 though. Really, and we saw 2 blue robots, 35-36 and Strike Force or Strike Zone were over here trying to get to that rocket, and that's just super effective then by 55-61. They can defend 2 for 1 here. Just really making them work, trying to come back across even and hit Strike Zone here. That sticks, but it wasn't a great score. And here's 66-10. We talked about it. Once they were done with their offensive job.
So do they get points if that hatch panel doesn't stick?
If it is only supported by the cargo ship or the rocket, they'll get the points. No matter how ugly it looks, they get the points. That one didn't hit the ground,
so as long as it's not on the ground.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay.
Yep. And then, look at a clean set of climbs from both sides.
Let's rejoin Alexis Downey right now. She's in the pits.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here with the Blue Alliance, the winners in that tight match. Parker and Austin, guys, what was working so well in that match?
I think we picked a good strategy. Definitely moving around the field to keep that defense spot off of us really helped out a lot.
What's something that you think your team will continue to do well in the next one?
We've always stuck to the motto, improvise, adapt, overcome, because a lot of us, including ourselves, have started out from practically nothing and moved our way up to where we're at now. For example, our first year, everybody quit, including all of our mentors and coaches. So we're technically a second-year team, but we're a third-year team.
Well, that's really incredible that you guys have that motto and you're working towards it. What's something that you think has helped keep that motto so important to your team?
The great thing about First is there's just so many loving and supporting people. And there's really no reason to give up because everybody's so supportive that they'll keep you going no matter what happens.
How do you think the crowd played a factor into that last win?
I think it definitely gave us energy and the drive to go out there and do our best and keep it good, clean match.
Well, thank you and good luck in the next match for you two. Back up to you guys.
Well, Alexis, thank you. Always good to hear from the kids that are, putting in the sweat, putting in the time, the effort.
Yeah, and that, mentor turnover is a big issue too. You lose a lot of that institutional memory when, your mentors don't stick around. So you can have a third-year team like they are that's sort of starting over and rebuilding again.
Well, the important thing is to not regress. No matter what the situation is, as long as you have kids that are invested and they get some mentors that will step in, that's always going to be a good way to continue the story.
Yeah, and it seems like they've got the determination that they are going to take a really good lesson from that as well.
So now our matchup here is Red Alliance, Blue Alliance showdown, obviously. This is our third semifinal match. And we are continuing with what a great atmosphere here we have here at Milford High School. This is the first Robotics Game Day, the Milford District event. Everything building to mid-April when the best teams in the state will be at Saginaw Valley State. So every weekend from here on out is going to be very exciting for all these teams. 40 here today. A lot of other schools competing in other venues. Everyone trying to get to that final destination at SVSU.
Absolutely. We're taking a look at our #1 alliance in the Red Bumpers, Brighton Technodogs Hot Team and Laker Logistics. They have been undefeated and they have not had a close match yet. So we'll see if our #4 alliance here can turn things around. We heard that they were going to maybe try to play a little bit more defense, so I'm going to watch for that. That 74 robot to cross the field, and they do, taking up position by that rocket ship on the top of our field here. And that was a big hit.
Laker Logistics upping the ante defensively. Boy, yeah, there is a lot of defense going here.
Yeah, both sides now. They got their bruiser over there trying to get in the way. And I think the disruption is working. 71-74, that's the Protobots out of Crestwood High School, have really stalled out this Red Alliance's offense. And Blue is actually up by 5 points at this point.
It doesn't look like there will be a ton of scoring, at least if the current defensive strategies stay up. Blue Alliance loading their cargo ship with a cargo ball.
Oh, man. 67 just getting plowed away from that opening. And they're struggling to score that. They've been on that one hatch panel for the last 20 seconds. And it's still not up.
Brighton Technodogs loading the cargo ship. Another cargo ball in the middle for the Blue Alliance. Still a close score, but a lot of time left. And still a lot of defense happening here.
Yeah, at some point, that 67 robot needs to go to the cargo. They need to give up on the hatch panels. They need to fill that cargo ship for those points.
Yeah, they're going right now. There they go. That is one of the faster, more maneuverable robots, the Hot Team.
And that's a very good response. They let the defense up for just 1 second, and that's 3 balls in the cargo ship, and now Red has a commanding lead.
Yeah, that Hot Team robot, Hotbot, That's kind of the centerpiece of that Red Alliance.
Yeah.
And they're building on their lead with less than 30 seconds.
And what we can see too is they pulled Laker Logistics 55-62 to counter D. They were setting a pick, keeping 71-74 out of that lane, giving them time to score.
Yale Gigawatts making the level 3 climb for the Blue Alliance.
Yep, and they're up. 67's going to have to rush this time. They don't normally go this late, but wow. When they do, they can go fast.
Well, we mentioned there wouldn't be a lot of points. It was a defense-first strategy for both teams, but the Red Alliance is the team that's maybe got this thing in hand. Oh, wait a minute.
It's
well,
very
it's
close.
Very dead.
It's very
dead
close.
even.
Yeah.
I spoke too fast.
We're showing 57-57 on the live scoring. Blue has that one extra level 2 robot. They're 3 points up there in the end game, but we don't know when that was added by the scorekeeper. So that might be reflected. It might not.
Yeah, I was going to say the Red Alliance was jumping around like they won. Now we're going to get to the scoreboard in a little bit, but let's look at our highlight package. Defense first, all
those hits.
Both teams this time.
Yep. And we see here again, 55-62. They did this in the first match as well. And it's just, trying to get in position and not letting them. And here's that extended 67 hot pot trying to score that one hatch panel. And 71-74 just held them up for a good quarter of the match there. That was actually a penalty there on the red robot, getting inside the blue robot's bumpers on their side of the field. And that is the fastest that we have ever seen 67 climb. They were out in the field late trying to make up points, and they had to rush it, but their drivers were able to execute.
So close, but a Red Alliance win. That puts them up 2-0 in the semis.
So they're into the
and
finals.
They're moving on, right.
That was the closest match that they've played so far, 75-66. That 9-point margin of victory was the closest. The second closest margin of victory was 23 points. So that defense that the Blue Alliance brought, that our number 4 Alliance brought there, almost closed the gap, but not quite. But a really good performance by them.
So one finalist, we know, still waiting to find out who they'll battle in the finals. Blue Alliance has a 1-0 advantage as we move into the second semifinal matchup between these two alliances.
And based on what we saw in the first matchup here, I think the Blue Alliance has the edge. It was a 4-point win, but based on the execution in that match, I think the Blue Alliance can score more than that. So we'll see if there's any change up in strategy. But look for that 54-60 robot to come out strong with the hatch panels.
Let's go downstairs and rejoin Alexis Downing.
Thanks, guys. I'm joined with 2 driving coaches, both from the Red Alliance and Blue Alliance, Destiny and Wyatt. Welcome, guys. That was a really tight match. How did your team do so well as far as their strategy?
Well, we decided that, we were going against some really great bots, so we had to try and slow them down as best as possible. So we tried to play the best defense as we can. You got to be careful, though, that you don't, rack up penalties. So just trying to, stop them where we could and do what we could do.
And what's one of the ways that you're able to stay so calm for the competition, especially as a driving coach?
I would say it's mainly repetition. We do it so much in the qualifiers, and you're a little nervous at first, but by the time you get around to this area, you really got a feel for it, and you're just more used to the situation you're in.
How does your team work so well together?
Well, it helps that they all go to school together, so they're all know each other. But, we have a really good variety of kids and pretty much every personality you can think of. So we just really meld together really well.
Now, is there a specific strategy that your team likes to use with the driving?
We like to mainly go for defensive positions, and if it's really needed, we can do hatch, but mainly defense, and that's a completely underrated thing when it comes to this. Not many people consider the defensive capabilities of any robot.
Is it extremely difficult to teach driving skills, or is it something that the team is able to usually pick up on pretty well?
Well, we usually start out with a bunch of kids just trying out driving, kind of see who's got their strong skills in certain areas. But with video games nowadays, they all kind of pick it up pretty quickly.
Well, thank you for joining me, guys. Back up to you guys.
Thanks, Alexis. All right, well, we could have our 2 final match contestants after this match because it's on the table for the Blue Alliance.
Yep, our number 2 seed versus our number 3 seed here. Are we going to have our top 2 seeds make it to the finals, or will we see the 3 seed in blue hold on and pull off the upset?
So Red Alliance has got some work to do. And the sandstorm begins. 15 seconds of high energy for both alliances. Red Alliance going, Blue Alliance going right for the cargo ship.
Yep, and 54-60, we want to see if they release that cleanly, they held the ball in, so that's going to be a pretty big advantage for them, and you can see that in the early score.
Raider Robotics played a lot of defense last match, this time not so much to start.
It'll be interesting. I mean, they're going to have to send him over at some point. I don't think the Red Alliance will keep up if they go, you know, score for score here against Blue.
Well, this is an offense-first strategy for both teams. They're working their side of the field, not worried about what's going on the other side.
And we're seeing some loading problems. 66-10 took a while to get in position to get this first ball.
35-36 for Electro. The Electro Eagles maneuvering fairly well, but having a tough time picking up the cargo.
They've got a drop back on the red side. 65-45 missed that 6th cargo ball for the cargo ship. It's close, 34 red, 38 blue, a 4-point lead.
Now Raider Robotics coming across and playing some defense.
Yeah, and they need to do that now. They got to close in. It's a 10-point lead now for blue as they score a couple more cargo points there, cargo balls. So Red's they've got to slow them down. Raider Robotics has got to make the move here.
Blue Alliance placing one of their hatch panels successfully on their rocket, that strike zone.
And this is good in the front court for Red. Raider Robotics is more or less shut down the Electro Eagles here. That one cargo ball took them, you know, almost 20 seconds to score. Undefended, it's going to be half that.
The Electro Eagles had to work very hard. Now they're going to go right to their level 3 climb. They want to get the maximum points.
Yeah, I think their coach is looking up. They're saying they've got a 12-point lead. If we get this climb, we should be okay. And we've seen the Electro Eagles. They need their time.
Red Alliance is going to follow suit. In the middle, that's Raider Robotics going for the big 12-point push.
We'll see here again, strike zone looking for level 2 on the blue side, and 308 looking for level 2 on the red side.
Red Alliance has a little bit of a struggle there for Tawas Braves, not level at all.
So 308 cleaner than strike zone, 54-60. They get level 2, but again, as you said, 65-45, not even making it on the platform. So we are again looking at a tied endgame. And presumably, blue with the advantage going into it, we might have our second finalist.
Dan, having coached teams, do you see where drivers get more confidence as the day unfolds? Is that a consistent thing?
Yeah, and as the coach, it's kind of your job to build that confidence. Don't ask them to do something that they're likely to fail at. Ask them to do things that they can do in their sleep for a bit until that confidence starts building, right? Then you can ask them to do the crazy maneuvers.
So again, unofficially, it looked like the Blue Alliance was the team that was going to win this semifinal. If in fact they do, it will mean that our finals match is all set. Here's our final score. 78-62, and the Blue Alliance.
Yep, they held on, and again, you know, almost even in Sandstorm. They got a couple extra points, placing stuff. But, you know, those cargo points and those hatch panels were able to keep them ahead.
Let's take a look back at how the Blue Alliance won this semifinal match to move into the championship.
Yeah, it's 66-10 there with a nice shot. They're one of the unsung heroes of that Blue Alliance, just quietly scoring those balls and then getting across the field to play defense. Strike zone, great place on the hatch panel, great place on a cargo ball, but now we see that defense that that did slow down the Blue Alliance. It almost gave our number 2 seed a chance to come back. That hard-hitting defense here by 55-61. We saw a miss forced out of the Electro Eagles, and this score here took a long time, way longer than they had.
Let's head downstairs and pick it up again with Alexis Downey.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here with the winner, the Blue Alliance. Introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Zach Treader. I'm the drive coach and lead mentor for Team 6610.
How exciting was that last match win for your team?
It was super awesome. This is the first time we've made it to the playoff matches, and to get to the finals is amazing.
So fantastic. And what's something that you have been encouraging your team members throughout this match and competition in general?
Just to, stay positive, stay calm and collected. It's easy to get jitters in this type of situation, and we've just come together as a team really good, and just be good teammates.
Well, congrats on moving into the finals, and thank you. Back up to you guys.
All right, so we're going to take a break here in Milford, and we're coming back. It's the championship match. What an afternoon we've had. It's the first Robotics Game Day, the Milford District event. More when we come back.
It's not born. It's nurtured. It's curious. It pioneers. Genius takes teamwork. It takes patience. It doesn't throw in the towel. It keeps going. Past obstacles, past failures. Until that moment when it shines. Introducing the Generation Genius Project from Consumers Energy, our educational initiative to inspire a passion in science, technology, engineering, and math. Like our sponsorship of Michigan First Robotics. Together, we can fuel the next generation of talent in Michigan. Discover the genius in all of us at consumersenergy.com/genius.
The Riveters is a FIRST Robotics team based out of Mercy High School in Farmington Hills. We are a majority female team with the goal of helping others pursue STEM.
I don't notice it, that we're all girls. But then we get to competitions and we're like, oh yeah, it's all boys here.
I think it's really important for high school girls to see other women in engineering.
It's a rare field to find women in, especially our women role models these days. Therefore, it's a rare field for women to feel empowered to go into.
The best thing about FIRST Robotics is that it gives the girls an opportunity to try out CAD skills in a machine shop and programming and find out what they really like. It's just great to see so many girls getting involved and having fun and learning about STEM.
So we are set for our our finals match. Finally, we get down to the last two teams. Red Alliance, this team is strong. They have been so good today. Red Alliance consisting of the hot team, the Brighton Techno Dogs, and Laker Logistics. The Blue Alliance, Strike Zone, Electro Eagles, and Robot Roll Call. So this has just been just an exciting afternoon so far with great efforts by both of these teams. The hot team, we talked about, Dan, with pretty much all these alliances have two teams that have a lot of experience. And then the one team, Dan, we've talked about that has a little bit of less experience. They're kind of the newbies, just kind of learning how to, perform at a high level like this. How do you like the way this final sets up?
I think that our number one seed has shown almost unstoppable thus far. So the last match, we saw some defense slow them down, but they're playing very, very well, and they've got to be the favorites here. 35-36, the Heartland team and the Lapeer team, 54-60, both have the capability of putting up big points. They're not doing it consistently. If they can bring everything together in this match, then they definitely have a chance. And don't forget 66-10, right? They scored their 3 balls on the far side of that cargo ship and go play defense every match.
One of our great sponsors is DTE, and they have done a lot of great things to help make an event like this be so good. Let's take a look.
FIRST has created a platform for future employees to recruit students by sponsoring specific teams and getting to know those students. Kids who graduate as FIRST alumni have skills that other kids didn't learn.
Through FIRST, I was able to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and it gave me a head start in a way.
After being on FIRST Robotics for a year, I've learned that mechanical engineering is really where my heart's at.
Even though I haven't decided the career I want to pursue, it leaves so many doors open. I can go for a job and I could say I have great cooperation through the FIRST Robotics program, and I know how to incorporate everyone's idea into one big thing.
And the robots are coming out. It is time for a championship. Our finals are here. What do they do with the robots? What kind of fine tuning is done with these robots when they're not, between these semifinals and finals and whatnot?
So throughout the day, teams are always going to be trying to improve some things. They'll adjust brackets. They'll definitely adjust code. They'll do the upkeep stuff. You'll do some greasing of chain and gears. But really, between Finals 1 or semifinals and finals, they're going to try to do as little as possible. They just want the robot to keep working the way it's been working. There is the possibility that you can over-tinker and kind of make something that was working stop working.
So tell me if you've heard this before. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, I've definitely been guilty in the past of fixing something that wasn't broke.
The overzealous coach. Well, live and learn. There's some bullet points on the Brighton Techno Dogs. Hubert is their robot.
Yeah, they've got that swerve drive, and what we mean by that is they have steerable wheels at all four corners of their robot, so they can go forward and backwards, but they can also go sideways.
Dan, can you single out the one robot, maybe an experienced team, maybe a new team, that has performed the best today so far?
So, our Red Alliance has been consistent and strong all day. Looking at Blue, we've seen, a little bit more inconsistency from this 35-36, the Heartland Electro Eagles. And same thing with 5460, Lapeer Strike Zone. We saw yesterday when they were playing some of the qualifying matches, this 5460 team completed a rocket on their own. So that's 6 hatch panels and 6 cargo scored. They've been a little bit inconsistent today, and they've had maybe some issues with their robot. But the one that's been consistent all tournament long for this alliance here, for this number 3 alliance, is 6610 out of Bendel. Robot roll call. I don't think I've seen a match yet where they failed to do their job, which is score 3 cargo on the backside of the cargo ship undefended and then go get in the way of the other alliance.
Do teams, I guess it's obvious, teams always re-strategizing from, round to round.
Yeah, and there will be whole scouting and strategy teams in the stands. So we know some of these teams, they're watching the matches, but they're not just watching their matches for what they can do better. They will have been watching each other's matches to know, what are the tendencies? See how they cluster around an area. Let's be ready to defend that area. So we'll see if either alliance has something special cooked up or if they're just going to open with their kind of basic strategies here.
So again, best 2 of 3. The winner is going to win this district event in Milford. First team to win 2 matches.
Yep, and thus far, just looking back through the scores, our number 1 alliance, again in the red bumpers, 74 points, 76 points, 75 points, and 93 points. So they're averaging, something like 80 points, just shy of 80 points a match. Our number 3 alliance, they had a 47, 72, 72, 73, and 78. So their average is definitely, I would say maybe 6-7 points below that of the number 1 seed. But they did have that one really low match at the beginning. And if they can avoid the problems they had there, it could definitely be a close one. So this year, it's a tradition at first events. What we do is we bring out all 3 alliances of the 2 finalist alliances, announce them, bring the drive teams on the field, and then they will shake hands before going back to start the first match.
Which is not an easy thing to do considering the giant cargo ship in the middle of the playing field.
I always wish that somebody would tell me, you know, after you're announced, walk this way to shake hands. There's always a little bit of indecision here in that transition.
Well, what a great moment for all these kids to, you know, especially the newer ones, that, you know, just, you know, you work as a coach, as a student, you work, you know, put in these hours, and they're, you know, quiet, you know, isolated. You don't really get, you know, any instant feedback. Then to finally get that robot completed, bring him to this big stage here, it's quite a payoff.
And to have the stuff work out, I mean, for all these teams in the finals, I can tell you that, you know, they're hooked for life. So again, a little bit of history. The Red Alliance, lots of wins. The Brighton Techno Dogs last year winning their division, I believe it was this event last year, hot with just a number of wins under their belt. On the Blue Alliance, you know, we don't have as much. 35-36 won this event actually with 37-07, the Techno Dogs last year. They teamed up. But 54-60 Strike Zone, one of the best robots kind of in the state the last couple of years, yet to pull out a win. And in fact, 37-07, the Brighton Techno Dogs, 35-36, the Electro Eagles paired up to win this event last year. Do you know who they beat?
Who?
67.
Ooh. So sometimes you have some strange bedfellows.
Yep. And we heard that a little bit earlier too, just how, you know, teams that are your opponents could be your alliance mates in the future.
And what happened last year doesn't have to carry over.
Absolutely.
If the score ends up in a match as a tie, that means nothing in the final.
It's like we're just about ready, so first to 2 wins.
We have narrowed the field down to 2 excellent teams.
And here it comes for the Red Alliance.
And the winner of the next the first one to win 2 of these final matches will win this district event.
We've got a thumbs up. Basic floors between the lines, and 3, 2, 1, go.
And away we go. The sandstorm period begins.
At this battle between Brighton 37-07 and Lapeer, Brighton already scoring a panel and back with their second panel. I mean, this is probably the most impressive sandstorm that we've seen. Can they save that ball? They do. That was excellent driving.
Yeah, the curtains are up. The cargo balls are getting moved around. Blue Alliance with a good number already in their cargo ship in the middle, and the Blue Alliance playing some defense in the end there. The robot roll call working on that far side, putting the hammer down on Brighton's Techno Dogs.
That's the key we're talking about. This #1 alliance in red, it's got too much firepower for you to go straight up against them. So that defensive posturing, I love to see that, and it's keeping Blue in this match. In fact, it's got Blue a 13-point lead.
Robot roll call is the one doing the dirty work defensively, right on the hot team there. The hot team's got nowhere to go. Boxed in.
They are trapped in that corner.
Talk about some footwork, but really, I mean, right now the hot team robot is just kind of spinning its wheels. Now it gets free, finally puts that cargo ball down, but they lost a lot of time, and they're down on the scoreboard.
And that was a good move. Actually, we saw a little bit of a mistake there by 66-10 because they extended the defense too far. You see how they're coming too far out of that alley, and they're leaving lanes for the hot bot to take.
Good defense between Red Alliance and Blue Alliance on the other side with Laker Logistics causing some problems for two Blue Alliance robots.
And they've been bruising all day over there. But it looks like Blue hanging on to a small lead here as the end game approaches.
Yeah, defense first so far in this first semifinals match. Under 30 seconds. Boy, this has really been aggressive
and I
defensively.
think 67 went to go climb early. Look, there's 20 seconds left on the match, and they're up there not doing anything. We saw in their last match, they were able to make that climb in half the time.
Blue Alliance gets the Electro Eagles on that third level. Blue Alliance is in good shape if they can get those robots up. Looks like they're going to stand pat. 5460 cannot make the second level climb.
No, I think Red went too early to the climbs. I think they needed to stay in the field and try to score a couple balls at the end there.
Well, unofficially, it looks like a good win, a comfortable lead for the Blue Alliance.
Yeah, sure, we had them up by about 10 points going into endgame, and endgame looks like it ended up even.
A lot of high fives and some quiet moments behind the Red Alliance shield. What did Blue Alliance do well?
I think it was all the defense. I mean, that's what we've been asking to see played against our #1 seed here. And that was the best defense we've seen so far, 66-10, just shutting down the 67 robot, the hot team, for at least the first half of the match before they extended too far. Good defense on the other side, too. There was that, 55-62 Laker Logistics definitely slowing down Red Alliance, but not quite as much.
Let's get together with Alexis Downey in the pits.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here with the Blue Alliance, who just won the first match. Really big win. Can you introduce yourselves, guys?
I'm Kyle Albrecht, also known as Kyle the Juggler.
I'm Alyssa Shelton, and I'm the human player on 35-36.
And now, how exciting was that first win?
It was crazy, and here actually comes the scores. And there's our rocket going up! As a senior this season, I lost my whole drive team last year to graduation, and as the drive coach, seeing these guys come back as brand new drivers and a brand new drive team entirely, this is what I'm here for.
Very special moment for you. What's something that you guys think will work into your next match?
I think for sure it's the fast hatches and the fast balls. The better and faster that we can get stuff done. Cycle times is huge in this game. So the faster you go, the faster you can go. And it's awesome. And just seeing this, I honestly never thought that this could happen at all. It's crazy and I love it, especially as kind of my one and a half year being on the drive team. So I'm very excited.
And how is this crowd helping your team?
The crowd is just going crazy, and it really helps kind of bring up the mood and just kind of like the hopes of the drivers, and the better they play, because the more pressure, surprisingly, the better we play, which is crazy.
It's fantastic. What do we have over here?
I'm trying to get to turning in a timeout because I actually need to help our alliance and ensure that we are a nice and cool match. So I've got to run.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here and good luck in the next match.
Thank you. I enjoy you coming here and taking all these interviews and spreading robotics around.
Of course. Back up to you guys.
All right, thanks, Alexis. Boy, we could dissect that interview for a while, but let's go to our scoreboard here. Very close. Blue Alliance is able to hold on. Where did Red Alliance get all those points late?
So once the defense lifted, they were able to start scoring a little bit more. So 66-10 went back with plenty of time left in the match. There are some extra protections at the end of the match. You can't hit people in endgame while they're on their platform, and so they were vacating the area. I think 67 and 3707 went too early to the platform. I think they both could have scored another ball, leading to a tie game. And this is, normally they're there in time for this, but really good move by the driver to lift that up, get the ball back in, and get credit for both.
She made a mention about the term cycle times. What does that mean?
So what we do is we count the time essentially to get a game piece, score the game piece, and get back to the next game piece. That's one cycle. And if you think about it, if your cycle time is 10 seconds, and somebody's playing defense and makes that 10 seconds become, even 12 seconds, you're going to take 2 scores away from that robot. And we saw better defense than that. We can see some of it right here by 66-10, but we saw them extend a little bit there at the end, opening up that room for 67 to kind of swerve past them right there. And that, if they had stayed tighter to the cargo ship, I think they could have held that line. But amazing defense by 66-10. Robot roll call just absolutely locking down 67 for a good portion of that match. And here we see good defense by the Red Alliance Robot Laker Logistics, 55-62, also making a mess of that area. And here's where, 67's up. There's over 20 seconds left in the match. I think they had time to score more before they went back. And I think, with no defense, they're going to be able to make that score quickly.
So to recap, strategically, you think Red Alliance went too fast to get on the platform?
Yeah, they're used to playing from ahead, and when you're ahead, you can go to the platform early, be safe, and lock it down. But they were playing from behind this match, and I don't think they made the transition to, it's an open field. We're one of the best cargo scoring robots at the event. We can make that score and we can get back in climbing time. And we saw in the semifinal match too, they climbed in, I think, less than 10 seconds. So there's no reason for them to go at 35 seconds left in a match that they're losing. The other thing that I think we should look for from the Red Alliance, we saw them play it before. We saw the defense on the defense. We saw them bring their third robot back, the Laker Logistics, to throw a pick or to take the defensive robot out of the game. And that might be something that they look to do here. If they can get 55-62 on 66-10 robot roll call, they might be able to keep that lane open. And again, if it's just 2v2 free scoring offense, it's going to favor the #1 Alliance.
So Blue Alliance can win if they win the next match. Red Alliance has got a little work to do. Let's go back downstairs and rejoin Alexis.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Natalie on the Red Alliance. Natalie, what are some of the adjustments you guys are making after that first match?
So one thing that we're going to do is we're going to climb later because we started to climb too early in the last match, and we're going to try to get another 1 or 2 game objects scored in that time. And another thing that we're going to do is we're going to play on the opposite side of the field because one thing that happened in the last match was we got a lot of defense played on us by the opposing alliance. And we think that the opposing alliance will not be able to play as good defense on the other side because of where the driver's station is in their line of sight.
Is there any specific mechanical things on your robot that you want to improve?
Right now, there's nothing that we're going to change or improve. Right now, we're just doing a function check and making sure everything works for the next match.
Well, hopefully it does work, and good luck in that next match. Dan and Dan, back up to you guys.
Thanks, Alexis. Strategy-wise, obviously, Red Alliance, well, what changes do you anticipate they make for the next match?
Well, she already said what I was hoping she would say, which is they know they went too early to climb. Can definitely get some more scores in.
So you agree with what she's going to do?
Yeah. For sure, yeah. Okay. And switching the sides of the field is good. I think you need to be flexible, though. Making them play on the far side of the field is good, but you know what? Mid-match, switch again. It's a lot like in soccer. When you have kind of 2 at the top or your wingers, they'll sometimes switch around to confuse the defense. And I think we could see some good stuff here if they and their partner, the Brighton Techno Dogs, did some switching.
So about 1 minute left before the teams come out. Blue Alliance, is there, if you're coaching them, what adjustments or tweaks do you think they make?
It's easy for the Blue Alliance, especially as an underdog, especially looking at the alliance that they're facing in the #1 seed, to get too excited over that win. They played well, the defense was good, but the #1 seed is going to come back with an adjustment. So they need to be thinking one step beyond that. And also, they got shut down a bit by 55-62, Laker Logistics, right, on defense as well. And they were clustered on one feeding station side, so they may also want to think about trying to spread out their play. Stretch the defense, make it so they can only get one of them at a time. So I would like to see them play both sides of the cargo ship instead of one side, especially when that red robot is over there, creating that havoc.
Yeah, that Blue Alliance win, I mean, a win is a win, but it wasn't a great win, a huge win. Mm-hmm. The scoreboard was pretty close, so they probably know that what they did most recently is not going to necessarily carry them to another win in this match.
Yeah, and there is experience on that team. Again, 35-36 winning this event last year. 54-60 has been playing these elimination round matches for a while. So I expect them to be smart enough to sit down and say, we gotta anticipate the changes that Red's gonna bring and see if we can counteract those changes before the match starts. There are adjustments you can make in a 2-minute and 30-second match, but your drivers and your coaches have got to be on the ball to make those audible calls. And that field timeout, we had a 6-minute field timeout. Of course, just like human athletes, I guess the robots get tired. They need a little bit of a time to, teams are going to swap their battery in between those 2 matches, get a fresh battery in there. A lot of times the motors and compressors are going to be overheating on the robot. So teams may even be back there spraying those compressors with cold air or the freeze spray, trying to get the temperature down so everything is functional for the match. There are pneumatic air tanks that they can pre-pressurize. That takes a little bit of time. They got to run that, fill those up. And you want to go through your entire robot, do your checklist, make sure all the systems are functional before you put it back out on the field.
Blue Alliance with a small margin of victory in that first finals win. Red Alliance, they laid out their strategy. Dan Kimura approved it.
I did, yes.
So we'll see if they can enforce that vision on the Blue Alliance in this next round. It could be the end in our finals, as again, we're just warming up. Everything peaking towards April 13th at Saginaw Valley State. So there'll be a lot of gyms across the state of Michigan that look exactly like this between now and mid-April on Saturdays.
Yep, at the end of this weekend's events, we'll have 8 district events in the books. We have 20 left to go.
Ugh.
Looks like just the final checks here. They're closing up the gates. I think we have 1 robot left to connect and get set up down there.
Are the sizes of the playing field static from year to year? In other words, I mean, to my eyes, yes, they haven't changed. They don't get bigger, wider, longer. They're all the same.
Yep, absolutely correct. The outside border is the same. The inside is what changes.
Yeah, we're teasing what's coming up at Saginaw Valley State. That's April 13th, 2 o'clock. You and I will be there along with Dave Verbrugge.
Yep, and that's about 160 of the over 500 teams in Michigan. So that's going to be the best of the best that make it to that event.
And boy, there's a lot of good ones here today. So everybody getting their, getting their first taste of real competition.
There we go. The sandstorm curtains are lowered, so I think we're ready to go.
And off we go here. 15 seconds.
Yep, keep an eye on that 3707, the Techno Dogs. They dropped that first hatch panel, and that's something they have not been doing often.
The Electro Eagles robot for the Blue Alliance, putting in 1 cargo ball. Another goes in for the Blue Alliance. Blue Alliance off to a good start. About a 10-point lead here early.
That sandstorm was the worst one we've seen out of the #1 alliance thus far.
Red Alliance losing the handle on 1 cargo ball. Blue Alliance committing to defense. The 6610 robot is robot roll call, and they're causing a lot of havoc in the Red Alliance end.
Yeah, they switched who they were playing their defense on, but it's still working. 67 forced to kind of cross the field for that hatch panel. It looks like they dropped a few on the near side zone or station. So you can see a couple of them on the ground there, and it seemed to have been a problem for them.
Big lead for Blue Alliance. Red Alliance has got some defense going too. Laker Logistics putting it on the Electro Eagles robot.
Yeah, but we are seeing strike zone on that top side rocket. Already 2 hatch panels placed. Looks like they're going for more.
Red Alliance closing the gap as they load up in the cargo ship.
And we see there, 66-10 running into the cargo ship, and I think that's the vision that 67 was hoping they would get. That vision advantage on the far side of the field.
We've got one cargo ball in one rocket ship, but everything else has been in the cargo ship. Blue Alliance loading up their rocket at the midsection. Still very close now. Red Alliance has made up that early gap. 40 seconds left.
2 points for Blue. This is almost when 67 went to climb last match. This early, so we'll see how much they can score in between.
Electro Eagles is going to make their level 3 climb. Going well early. They've got a modest lead, but Blue Alliance can easily make it up with the hot team robot ready to make their level 3 climb.
And Electro Eagles having a problem getting up. They might be giving up on level 3. Yeah, they're going level 2.
Oh my.
And that is a big drop off in points. That's a potential 6-point difference.
The hot team and the hot bot already on level 3. 55-62 Laker Logistics.
Great last
they're on.
score.
And Red Alliance may have had enough to extend this to a third and final match.
And we saw 67 from the time we called. This is when they went last match. They scored a hatch panel. 37-07 from the time that they went last match. Scored an extra ball in the near side rocket. And I think they've got this one. They look to be up.
Well, it didn't start well, but it ended well.
Yeah, and that's right. So their autonomous mode, that Brighton autonomous mode, is the worst, or Sandstorm mode, sorry, is the worst we've seen thus far in the playoffs here. And if they win anyway, that's a great sign for them going forward.
Well, we are going to a third match in this finals. Brighton High School, Huron Valley, Maple City Glen Lake, consisting of the Red Alliance, Blue Alliance, Lapeer Community High School, Heartland High School, and Bendel High School. We are not done yet. There's the score, the Red Alliance. The rally was enough, an 8-point win. The half climb was the swing.
So the Electro Eagles, right, finished on level 1 of the platform. That's 3 points. Normally they're on level 3. That's 12 points. That's a 9-point difference. And the match was won by 8 points. So we can see 37-07. This has usually been automatic for them, but they missed that first panel, and then they did not get back for the second one either, and they've been doing 2 there. Good clean score here by the Electro Eagles. They got away from the defense for a bit. And so we see, I think the Brighton Technodogs, they did a better job of dealing with 66-10's defense than that Hot Machine did, the 67 robot did in the previous match. Still good defense on both sides. 55-62, really making life miserable for Blue over here. But you can see, too, spreading out the field like that means you can only defend one person if they're scoring on opposite sides. And that was that blindside advantage. They couldn't quite see through the cargo ship to be in the right spot. And we can see
couldn't do
sliding off. And it's looked precarious all weekend long, but they've been scoring it, but not there.
And that's a tough call because, you know, like we said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. However, if it's not working really well, then you got to make a hard decision, maybe.
And like I said, that climb, that climb essentially, that missed climb cost them 9 points. They lost the match by 8, so they're on level 3. They're our champions.
Well, they say baseball is a game of inches. Robotics, they were close. We'll get our score from this match and then a score from the first match, and we'll kind of compare and contrast the two. So this is the most recent match. Red Alliance wins to extend it to that third match.
Yeah, big issue on the hab climb. I mean, you can't lose 9 points in the end game there. 18-9 for the Red Alliance, and expect to come out on top. But the autonomous advantage, sandstorm advantage for the Blue Alliance, also unusual in that the Red Alliance is normally getting those hatch panels up and capturing those 2 balls for the free points there.
And then back to, let's see what the first match was as we kind of break down some of those numbers. That was, a little bit more one-sided. No, actually not too much one-sided.
Yeah,
No, was it? It looks like it
win
was.
and an 8-point win. Yep.
Right. We'll get that one in a minute. I was going off the unofficial score.
Right. Yep.
And then, of course, when things were tallied up, it got to be a lot closer.
And the Sandstorm points, of course, the only thing going to show up there is leaving from level 1 or level 2 and crossing the line. So 15 is almost the most you'll see. So you see the same thing in Sandstorm there, but, you know, the hatch panels and cargo, again, Blue Alliance really shutting them down on defense there. And then if you go even on Hab Climb, that's enough, right?
Down in the pits we go as we rejoin Alexis Downey.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here with one of the Red Alliance members. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Alyssa.
And after that last match, you guys came back and won, and that is putting you up 1-1 in the scoring right now. How did you guys change your strategy going into that match?
Well, we started to change from what side we were going to play on and how we decided we were going to deal with the amazing defense the Blue Alliance has been putting up, and we reevaluated how we were going to assess either putting on hatch panels or cargo and how effective we wanted to be at that. And especially with the last match, we went to climb a little bit early, so we climbed a little bit later than that.
Was there any advice that your team or your alliance had going into that match?
Our alliance mostly, we wanted to make sure that we were watching the defense well, and again, just being able to prepare for whatever the Blue Alliance might throw at us.
What's been the best part of being at this competition today?
Oh my gosh, everything has been so awesome. The environment's amazing. All the teams here have been super competitive and super explosive and super friendly. So just the environment.
And what's one thing that you think your alliance does so well as far as like communicating?
I think they're really good at planning out a match strategy and the communication, because we have our scouters currently recording each match, so we're able to come back and talk about, all right, what were the pros and cons of each match, and we can improve upon that.
Well, good luck in the next one. It's going to be tough, I'm sure, but good luck. Guys.
All right, thank you, Alexis. Well, this is what you want.
Yep,
you know?
Yep. Close matches, exciting matches. So the question is, Red Alliance made a very good adjustment to the Blue Alliance's strategy in the first match. Took the second one. What does Blue have in store for match 3?
And you know, both the scores were so close. It's not like, you know, there's something really super obvious.
Right, for sure. So if you're Blue, you could just very easily be thinking, hey, we missed our climb. If we hit that level 3 climb, we win that match. We don't have to change anything. If you're Red, at the same time, you're thinking, man, we won that match, and Brighton, the Techno Dogs, missed both of their hatch panels in autonomous mode that they normally put up. And if they put those up for the next match, that's going to be another 10-point swing in their direction. So they could be saying, hey, everything went our way, and we have an extra advantage here coming up.
Back to the pits we go. Here's Alexis.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here with EJ, the lead robot inspector. EJ, how long have you been involved with this?
I was involved in high school for 3 years. I took about a 10-year hiatus when I was in college. I've been back for, I think, about 6 years now.
And I understand you met your wife at this competition. How did that happen?
Oh, we actually met back in high school. It was actually asked her out, and so we went to prom. She actually dating someone at the time, and so we kind of stayed friends for 10 years. And then things kind of hit off after a little while, so we could stay in contact. First always been, we've always been very involved with FIRST Robotics, and things kind of hit off after about 10 years, and now we're married, we got a kid, and one more in the way.
And what's your favorite thing about being involved with FIRST?
I think just helping all the kids and seeing them grow and learn, and all the really exciting things they do, and not just technical, but also business, media, and arts.
Well, thank you for joining us, guys.
All right, thanks, Alexis. Robots are rolling out. Winner take all. One match to settle this district final.
Yep, and I always like to look at this point. Is anybody slow to head towards the field? We see all 3 of the Red Robots going. 6610's been on the field for a while. 5460's here. Looks like Electro Eagles are going to be the last team, but I see no concern on their faces. Their robot seems to be fine. a lot of times you'll have a team rushing to get something done in that time period. And you'll see them working on it as they push the robot to the field. Here it looks like we're going to have a good match of 6 working robots.
All these robots have run pretty well today, right? I can't remember anybody having a mishap.
Yeah, so once we get to the elimination rounds, right, first of all, it's the best 24 teams here. So a lot of the teams that were having, problem after problem didn't make it that far. But yeah, we had a couple of those hiccups in the first quarterfinal, the first 2 quarterfinals, and since then, it's been pretty clean, and that's what you like to see. So good look at some final match strategy. They want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. You should know it by the time you're out here, but it never hurts to reiterate the plan.
Look at Kyle the juggler. Remember, he was all revved up in that interview?
Yep.
Looks like he's kind of like the leader back there. He said he's the senior, and they had a bunch of guys that left last year, so he's kind of assuming that leadership role, right?
And he's got that vest on, that number 3 green vest. That means he is the Alliance captain. So technically, he's the one in charge. He's the one who gets to call the timeouts for the Alliance. He's the one who leads the strategy discussion. So a really good job by him. Sometimes your coaches will be mentors here. We've got a student out there doing it, bringing the Alliance together, making sure they're on the same page.
Look at that. There's the Techno Dogs getting pumped up.
Yep.
It is intense.
Yeah, that's Eden down there, our other FTA here at this event. We're going to make sure every robot is connected and everybody's systems are working perfectly for this match because we don't, again, we want to have a 3-on-3 match. We don't want to see a 3v2.
Right. Although it's not impossible, you think a 3v2 is an automatic win for that 3, but not necessarily.
That's true,
That's not automatic.
It depends on which robot goes out and how well you adjust. Also, more brush problems. This is a different station this time, the other side of the Red Alliance station here. And that's actually interesting, right? Because that's the loading station that we saw that Huron Valley's team, Milford, the 67 team going to load from. We saw them drop 2 hatch panels there and then give up on that station. So I wonder if there was some damage during that match. Obviously, they won the match, so they're not going to be complaining about that station if that's the case. But down there working on it now, making sure it's going to be good for this one.
And those volunteers, they have to test the field after every match, right? Just to be safe.
Yeah, so there are some things that we know we have to check out and test, and some things we can just visually confirm. There's a lot of zip ties on this field holding it together, or tie wraps, so I know people will be walking the field looking for missing tie wraps. We don't want anything to fall off in the middle of a match.
So the curtains come down. Still waiting on the repair job.
So that indicates that the teams are ready. We can actually see from here there's a light stack by the control desk over there, and there's a green light flashing. That lets us know that all the robots are connected and theoretically ready to play. There's also a blue and a red one, which will tell us who's not connected, which alliance is not connected. But here it looks like the robots are good. We're just waiting on this brush fix for that loading station.
The Blue Alliance wins the first finals match, then the Red Alliance able to rally and rebound in the second semifinals. So we're going to have a champion at the end of this match. Right now, let's join one of our sponsors, Consumers Energy, and their thoughts on sustainable energy.
Swimming,
kayaking and fishing,
skating on the pond, playing hockey,
making pasta.
Water is life. We have the responsibility to make sure that we preserve, conserve, and leave it much better than we found it.
In Michigan, life kind of revolves around water. So working with water, finding ways to conserve water or preserve water quality through technologies or new procedures, it's just such an awesome opportunity. And it really ties back to a lot of the things I really care about, having grown up in Michigan around water.
We work in a very sort of water-intensive industry, so we have a great opportunity to interact with the environment here in Michigan in the Great Lakes, and really ensure that we're putting it back and using water in a sustainable way.
Just because Consumers Energy is a utility company doesn't mean we don't care about water. From voluntarily setting a water usage reduction goal to collecting stormwater runoff and reusing it in plant processes, being a good water steward is something the company just thinks is the right thing to do for Michigan.
A lot of people forget that our company is made up of citizens, and when we're not here at work, we're out enjoying the state like everybody else. And all of those activities that we do outside of our job are what make us value what we do inside of our job.
Good insight from Consumers Energy, and still a little bit of work to do down on the field to get this all straightened out. What do you think they're working on?
Yeah, it's the same brush holder we saw, in the close-up last time. This one is on the other side of the red field, so this is a different brush holder that took the damage this time. I don't know. I didn't see if there was robot contact there knocking it off in the last match. We do know that it sort of didn't work so great at some point in the last match.
Let's revisit the bracket. And this is how we got to this point.
So, I mean, that #1 seed on the top of our bracket here, 2-0-2-0 to get to the finals. But seems like finally somebody had their number in the first match of the finals. Our #3 alliance had a much harder road. They went 2-1 in the quarters. They actually had a tough match there. They did win their semifinals in 2, but those were 2 close matches. First one was 69-73. A little bit better for them in the second match to get through in 2. But I think this is probably the 2 best offensive alliances that we have here today. And they've both been bringing the defense as well. So a lot of flexibility from their play.
We're not privy to how these games are created. We've talked about how they're creating next year's game right now, but they have to do a lot of testing and on their own before the game is even finished. So it's to say this is a large, a difficult, big process is an understatement.
For sure, yeah.
Where would you say, Dan, based on what you know, where is all the conceiving and executing and designing done? Where does that really happen?
So that is in Manchester, New Hampshire. That's where First is headquartered. And they have what they call a game design committee. And it's their job to go out and sort of brainstorm the ideas for, how can we play a game? What would be a good game pieces? What are the basic rules going to be? And they will then sort of present that to other people. Other people get a chance to bring in some input. We've had Disney actually giving us some people to help with the look and feel of the games. They want to sort of up that from, here's a metal cylinder that we put balls into, here are rocket ships that we're scoring balls in. So they're trying to bring that wow factor in. That will also go out to a group of seasoned First participants who then can sort of pick apart the rules of the game and say, oh, if you don't change this, it's going to be a broken game. And so they get a lot of that feedback before we even see the final game. And then they will run this field in some early season matches. They have a week 0 event, which doesn't count, where they run this field and they're looking for damage like the brushes that we're seeing now. And they'll roll fixes out to every event across the country, not just the 5 that are going on every week in Michigan.
Yeah, this is Destination Deep Space. So the rockets, the cargo ship, the cargo, it's just kind of an outer space theme.
Yep, it is the 50th anniversary of landing on the moon. So that was 1969. Here we are in 2019, and I think that's why they chose the space theme.
What are teams doing during this downtime? Anything significant, or just trying to keep their nerves under wraps?
It's mostly the nerves. I mean, you're going to see some teams come out now and refill the air tanks on their robot. But when I was coaching back there, my whole goal was just to keep the kids loose. There's no reason to spend this. We got maybe, a 10-minute delay here. You don't want them to spend the 10 minutes worrying about what they're about to do with the robot, right? It's sort of like icing the kicker, so we don't want to see that. The robots, other than filling up the air tanks, though, there's not too much you have to do. Really, the robots, when they're sitting there idle.
Changing batteries, maybe.
Usually you don't have to change the battery, but, if they go out and fill the air tank first, then they might come back and throw a new battery in just because it's been sitting for a while. So it looks like the hatch panel is fixed. We saw the human player from 67 over there dropping a bunch of hatch panels in there just to give it a test, make sure that they're dropping the way that we want to see them dropping. And now teams are getting their robots back up to match ready. Yep, there's the hatch panel bolted back on. Looks not too much the worse for wear. And that's a good job of that team staying loose, I guess.
All right, things are all settled in now.
If that one robot that swapped a battery, still waiting for the radio to boot back up and connect to the field, should be just about any time now. It's about 45 seconds there, and there's the green light on cue.
Green light go, and we'll get this last match of the day going in a minute. Or maybe not quite yet. Blue Alliance is doing some work with their one of their robots.
Final
now
adjustment.
Good,
So
yeah.
somebody needs to take that battery off the field. Good thing Julia's there. She caught that one.
Kyle the juggler.
That would have been ugly.
Yeah, that would not have gone well.
All right, and Mark there with the yellow shirt, that's our head ref here. Just going through, making sure all the teams are ready. After a long break like that, you want to make sure that you don't start when a team is not prepared.
Here we go. Execution critical here. Blue Alliance trying to load that cargo ship here. They got 15 early.
Yep. Red side, Brighton Techno Dogs this time sticks the first hatch panel. And the second one. There it is. Very good, very good.
Sandstorm is over. Red Alliance into some defense right away with Laker Logistics trying to take on two different Blue Alliance robots.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the difference when Brighton hits that double hatch panel auto mode. You know, they're up 14 points here, but I see a problem on the Blue Alliance's robot, 6610, that defensive menace. We can kind of see when they're driving, their robot signal light, those orange lights on the robot, it is dim and it is flickering. I think they've got a low battery. And I think that's going to make them less effective at defense and just driving.
The hot team working unimpeded. Oh, now they get blocked. Boy, good defense. Boy, the hot team's got some maneuverability, and they're going to shake off that defender and drop that cargo ball in the cargo ship.
They scored that in an already scored cargo ship base, so that last score by 67 won't count. 66-10, it looks like that issue has now expanded. They're not moving at all.
Robot roll call is dead in the water. And man, that is not a good time for that.
No, and I would almost say that they have been the key player on this alliance with their shutdown defense.
So the window is open now for the Red Alliance. Can they take advantage of the 3 versus 2?
Yep, thus far they're running up the score. 25-point lead here, 48 for red, 26 for blue.
Now 66-10 is back, fired up. Robot roll call. They got a little work to do.
But just look at how much they're struggling turning here.
Yeah.
You see that flicker in that orange light?
Yeah.
I mean, they're basically draining the battery down. I think they've got a bad battery in that robot because they haven't moved like that all day.
They dropped the cargo ball, but Red Alliance still working defensively. Laker Logistics, that's their thing. This is low scoring, but the Red Alliance has a comfortable lead as we come down the stretch. 54-60, the strike zone on level 3. They need that. Red Alliance, the hot team, they're trying to get that level 3 climb.
And they're up as well, 66-10 though. It's not happening for them.
Red Alliance is ready to celebrate. A lot of hugs going on there. Blue Alliance, they're going to wonder what happened to that battery with robot roll call. They expired and gave the Red Alliance a big advantage.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, they were the key to that strategy. That 66-10 robot, when they were playing their best defense, we were getting these close matches. We were getting that blue win in round 1. And that close loss in round 2, but if they're not available to go out and do that, you know, we saw what Red is capable of this match when they're unimpeded.
And the Red Alliance is going to take this home. Can't say it was all on the robot roll call. I mean, a 30-point difference is what it's going to turn out to be.
You know, and I think most of that was the fact that their robot was not able to get over there and play defense. But at the same time, you know, you can't blame them too much because the first 2 matches only turned out the way they did because of that stellar defense.
Look at the cargo points, hatch panels. There it is.
Yeah, it reverted right back to what, you know, that Red Alliance was used to putting up before before that solid defense by robot roll call. So just unable to keep up in the hatch panels and the cargo there. This is that Sandstorm mode by 3707, Brighton here. Again, 2-ball start in those cargo bays, so getting those hatch panels on is like double points. A miss there by 6610, which is a little bit uncharacteristic as well. But great defense again. Here's where I want to see them split. 35-36, go to the far side. You know, stop trying to go through that defender, go to the far side, take the easy points here. You know, kind of letting them defend 2 for 1 is not a good deal. So with 66-10 down, the 35-36, Electro Eagles forced to come back and try to play some of that defense. And it was not as effective, but they also weren't able to score while playing it.
So here's the Achilles heel for the Blue Alliance, 66-10, just sitting there.
Yeah, and that was eye contact.
That's never good.
But yeah, we saw them sit there for about 40 seconds, get active again, but still just not having the robot that we saw in the previous, tournament.
Robots that don't move means you don't win.
Yep.
Usually.
For sure. Another good climb by 67, getting to that level 3. Kind of icing it. This time they went early. This time I agree with the decision to go early. They were up by enough points that they just needed to lock it down.
There's your champions, the Red Alliance, Maple City, Glen Lake from Maple City, Huron Valley from Highland, and Brighton from Brighton. So the Brighton Techno Dogs, the hot team, and Laker Logistics, they are winners. We will step aside and come back. We've got more with some interviews from the winning team. The Red Alliance will continue here from Milford in just a moment.
It's really nice to see that DTE and other sponsors have our back. They're investing in our future, which is investing in their future.
I'm an engineer by background. I'm in the industry. I see there's not a lot of students in the STEM field right now, and we'd like to help increase that talent pool.
I am working in an engineering atmosphere that's very similar to a real-world experience.
Getting exposure to what kind of opportunities they can get, it empowers them to grab those opportunities.
I think First Robotics is more about pursuing your career. It's not really about the championship, but what you can get from building the robot and working with your teammates.
One team going home very happy. 3 schools in that group, the Brighton Techno Dogs, the hot team, and the Laker Logistics. Let's go down and join them right now with Alexis Downey.
Thanks. I'm down here with the winners of the competition today, the Red Alliance. I'm joined by 2 coaches and Nathan, a student. Guys, how are you feeling after today?
It's pretty awesome. Coming out of last year, not winning this competition, we always wanted to come back and win it this year, and it's nice to play with the bug.
How did you as a coach play a role in today's win?
Well, it's fun. This is the team we actually beat last year in this facility, so it's fun to be able to come back and play with them. We played with them in states as well, so it was fun just to be able to strategize. We have a relationship off the field as well, so it's a good relationship to have.
And now as far as strategy, it kind of changed going into that last match a little bit to adapt to the Blue Alliance strategy as well. How do you think that really got you guys the win in the end?
Well, I think changing the strategy so that it was harder for their defense to come and get us. They were pushing us around pretty good, so we changed that up. These guys did an awesome job of moving around and getting to the position to score, so it made a big difference in the win.
Also joined by one more member of the winning team over here. Coach, can you introduce yourself?
Sure, Chris Moorhead from Team 5562. We're from Glen Lake.
And what did this win mean to your team today?
This was a fantastic win for our team because we have 5 seniors here today, and they have worked very, very hard, not only to get here, but also just to keep up with school and every other responsibility they have while they're working during the robotics season. So,
now, what made this alliance work so well together?
I think a lot of talking, a lot of communication, and the strategy of having a defensive bot that really showed up. We're really excited about that. Being able to adapt and change every single match, I think really is what made it happen.
And how will this help all of your teams moving forward as you look forward to states?
Well, this is a big step to making it to states. You really have to perform well in a district and do well in a second one to get enough points to make it to states. So we're all in good position now to try to get there. We've got to play one more district and get there, but we've got a good shot now.
And as one of the students on the team, what was your takeaway from today's matches?
It's so much fun to win whenever you can, and it couldn't have done it with our 2 other partners, with 5562 being great defensemen, and then the speed of Brighton Bulldogs.
Well, congratulations to the Red Alliance today, here winning the Milford District Tournament. Back up to you guys.
Alexis, thank you very much. Dan, some final thoughts from you on what we saw today.
Yeah, unfortunate with the battery issue in the last match, but man, that was some exciting final matches there. And we're just starting to see how this game is going to play out over the course of the season. We saw defense take front stage here, and I think it's only going to become more important as we go later in the season.
Great afternoon here in Milford. We thank all of our great production crew. Thanks to my partner, Dan Kimura and Alexis Downey. We'll say goodnight. I'm Dan Gutowski. We say so long from Milford High School. The champions of the Milford District are the Brighton Techno Dogs, the Hot Team, and the Laker Logistics. Have a great night.